are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled enough? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. 10 sneaky ways men test you. Trust me, men want to break you with these tests. Why? Because every time you fail one of these tests, you become so much easier to take advantage of. The problem is, these tests are so sneaky and so subtle, majority of women don't even realize that they're happening until they've already failed the test, which is exactly why we're going to be discussing this today. But I guarantee you, if you don't pay attention to the entire list of 10 and you fail even one of these tests with the guy you actually like, you'll spend the rest of your life hoping to get a redo, but I promise you that day is never coming. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so I know you're here present and actively participating. How are all you beautiful people doing here in the chat, in the class, however we want to describe it? I know I'm very, very extra late. It's okay. We'll call this a Monday night class. You ever been to a night class in your life before? It's a very interesting way to school when you do your entire day and then you end your day with learning instead of beginning your day with learning. We're at night school right now because for most of you on the East Coast of the United States, we're in the evening. And for those of you on the West Coast of the United States or on Central Time, you guys are in like the afternoonish time, 3-4 p.m. Okay, but welcome all you beautiful people, and welcome those of you who are on the other side of the world where it's like the middle of the night for you. I welcome. This is the different type of night class, the late night class. How are all you beautiful people doing? We have so much to discuss today on this Monday afternoon, and I definitely want to discuss it with you. Okay, let's get started. So for number one, we're going to discuss persuasion. This is very important to understand. So I have you and him here at the night start. Let's say you're out on a dinner date with the guy that you're interested in. Now, you have a particular place that you want this situation to go. He also has a particular place that he wants this situation, this dinner date to go. So for you, that place is we enjoy our night, we have a good time. I like talking to you, you like talking to me, we laugh, we make eye contact, we flirt a little bit, and at the end of the night ends, maybe a little kiss on the cheek, maybe a little kiss on the lips if we're feeling like adults, and I end up going my way and you end up going your way, and we see each other again sometime soon because everyone had a good time. Now, this is where sometimes you'll have men test you. Actually, I should say a lot of times you'll have men test you, which I'm sure a lot of you have been through this scenario before, where he'll try to say, hey, I know you started off this date feeling like, yeah, we'll have a good time, we'll have a chat, then you'll go your way, I'll go my way, but I feel like we're vibing. Aren't we vibing? Look at me. Twin, we vibing. You like my twin. We talk the same, we act the same, we laugh the same. We one and the same. So because we vibing, why do we have to end the night just like that easy, that simple? Like who's really watching us? We could take a little bit of a detour to my place, hang out a little bit, vibe a little bit. You like my twin, we twins, you know, we vibing for real. We go over to my place, and let's just see where the night takes us. I know you had your thing before, but you know, I feel like you're vibing with me the same way I'm vibing with you. So why is this an important test that you need to make sure that you pass? Because men are always gauging how persuasive can they be with you. They want to understand, okay, you'll have your rules, you'll have your expectations, you'll have your things that how you think things are going to go in this relationship. But they always gotta see. They gotta see. Is it really gonna go that way when the pressure is on and you're in that moment, especially if things have been going really well? Because I know guys can be a little bit emotionally stunted sometimes. They're not idiots though. They understand if you're having a really good time, it's a lot harder to say no. And a lot of times, see, guys have what I call a learned behavior, meaning over the course of guys interacting with other women, they learn what works well and they learn what doesn't work as well. So guys get on these dates with you and they become persuasive to try and see, is she gonna break? Is she gonna fold? How much pressure can I apply? How smooth can I talk before I can get her to do something different than she was initially planning to do? Because I know she didn't come on this date planning to come to my house, because we haven't met each other since we actually got on this date. This is our first date. But I also know that if I'm a smooth enough talker and I talk to her the same way I talk to those other women that I persuaded to come to my house on that very first date, then hopefully she's one of these women that is easily persuaded, and she'll be convinced to do something different than she was planning. So how do you pass this test whenever you're in this circumstance or situation? You pass this test by saying, I had a great time with you. I had such an amazing time with you. I enjoyed my night. We are vibing. Maybe we are a little bit twinning. But even though we're twinning and even though we're vibing, I'm going to continue to stick to my plan, which is to end my night sleeping in my bed without you, okay? And that doesn't mean I hate you, doesn't mean I don't like you, right? Doesn't mean I didn't like or enjoy this date. But even though I enjoyed the date, it doesn't mean that I'm going to end that night off differently than how I anticipated I wanted to. No matter how amazing the night is, no matter how charming you are not going to be able to persuade me to do something that I had no initial intention of doing. And when you set that boundary, you can set it even in a playful way, even while you're smiling. And trust me, when guys are testing you, they'll try it again. They'll try it again. They want to see if you really are actually going to get into that car and drive away. They'll keep trying. But you still have to stick to your guns and show him there's no amount of convincing or persuading that you can do when I've already stood on what I believe in, and this is how I want things to go. It helps to set the expectation, especially from the very beginning. This is why I say these tests are so important, because they can be detrimental to the whole rest of the relationship that you have with a man. If you don't pass this test initially on that very first date, imagine what that does to his perception of you, right? The same way it can help your perception in the way that he sees you. Oh, she's serious, she means what she says. If you fail this test right from the very beginning, what does that do to his perception of you? Oh, she's unserious. She's a girl that doesn't actually mean what she says. I can persuade her to get her to do anything that I want her to do. So I don't have to actually listen to what she wants, because what she wants doesn't even matter. Are we on the same page? Okay. Flower says we got to be merciless with these horn dogs. English has a good question. She says, how many dates until we pass the test? Me personally, with persuasion, I don't think there is a date. In the sense that I don't think you ever want a guy to feel like he can persuade you into doing something that you didn't want to do. Okay? I will come back to this point that I wanted to make, but I want to actually talk about it in another point because I think it's more applicable. Okay? So, for point number 2, let's talk about the future. This is a very, 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 very sneaky test a lot of you have not thought about, and I've just helped a woman in our private questions. I helped her personally with a situation just like this. So for number 2, let's discuss the future. See, this is very interesting. I'm going to give you guys an example of a private question that I just helped a woman with a couple of days ago. By the way, if you have a private question for me, you can ask it by going into the link in my description. And I'm going to use this example of how I helped her to help you understand how the future is one of the tests that a man will give you. So let's say a guy drives to the date. You and him go together to this sushi spot. Okay, you love sushi. Someone's like, do you like sushi? I love sushi. So it's always a sushi date. So you guys are going to a sushi date together. Now, because he drove you there, obviously, he's going to have to be the one who takes you home. So he drops you off at home. But right as he's dropping you off in front of your house, this is where the test comes in. It's very sneaky. He all of a sudden says, oh, I am so silly, me silly. I'm such a silly guy. I forgot to pee the entire time I was at the restaurant, and sushi makes me very thirsty. There was a little bit of, I had some of that wasabi. I was drinking a lot of water, so I actually forgot to pee before we left, and I really, really have to pee right now. This is actually a situation I just helped a woman with in her private question. So he now has to pee, and we're conveniently right in front of his house. So where do you think he's gonna ask you to pee? He's gonna ask to come inside so that he can pee in your house, okay? Now, this is where problems arise. Now you're in a conundrum because you're like, oh, I vibed with you, I liked you, it was cool. Now you're asking me to pee in my place. I didn't intend on you coming into my house. This could go left because I don't know what's gonna happen once you come in, but I don't wanna be mean, so go ahead and come in. This is actually what happened in the situation, right? And what do you think happened after he came inside? He came inside. That's what happened after. After he came in, he came in. So why is this a test? And what does this have to do with the future, okay? As a woman, you have to understand, you have a major responsibility. I know it sucks, but I'm just telling you the truth. You have a major responsibility to be forward thinking about, okay, when this situation happens, how is this going to affect the next situation? What are the options here? How could things escalate? The reason you have to be thinking about how things will escalate is because a man in his natural masculine energy is going to make attempts to escalate things. If he feels like he's getting signals from you that is communicating to him one way or another that you are okay with what is happening, he is going to continue to escalate, meaning he's going to push the boundary up until you say, hey, this is too far for me, I don't want to do this. Then when you make it clear, he'll say, okay, my bad, I apologize, I'm not going to go any further. But here's the problem. If you're not looking forward to the future and you're not thinking about, okay, how could things escalate from here? Where are the places where now I could be in a kind of a weird spot or be backed into a corner or be forced to make a decision under a little bit of pressure? And you have to start thinking about that before you say yes to this thing. Because as things escalate, you'll say yes to one thing, and then you say yes to the next thing, and then you say yes to the next thing, and then all of a sudden you're in this position where you're like, oh my God, I just slept with this guy on the first night. I was not thinking about doing that. That was not in my cards. That was not in my plans at all. And you might genuinely mean that. But see, here's the thing, is that this test didn't start with making the decision to sleep with him. It didn't even start with saying yes to him coming into your house to pee. This decision and this test started with making sure that you have your own way of getting to the restaurant for the sushi date and meeting him there so that you're not tempted or put in a position where your back's against the wall or you feel pressured to allow him to do something that escalates in a way that now you're all jumbled up and you can't get yourself out of this situation, right? The real test was in saying to yourself, I need to be forward thinking enough about what are the possibilities if this guy is the one in control of how I get home or when I get home? How much trust do I have in this guy to abide by the boundaries or to be okay with just dropping me off at the end of the night or to just not be a weirdo that I can guarantee if he does drive me that I'll be safe and also that the situation won't escalate to a point that becomes uncomfortable for me or that I end up doing something that I wanted to do but I just regret doing it because I know it messed up my relationship with him, right? And so you have to be thinking in a scenario like this, no, I'm not going to let him drive me. We're still getting to know each other. Things are still fresh. It's not that he'll never get a chance to drive me and be a gentleman, but for the time being, while we're still brand new in the relationship, I'll meet him there. That way, I don't also put myself in a position that will allow things to easily escalate because there is no opportunity for escalation when we're eating sushi in public at the restaurant. But there's an opportunity for escalation when he comes out of the bathroom and he just finished playing with his pee-pee and now he's coming into your room or saying, oh, why don't you give me a tour of your place? And then a tour of your place turns into sitting down on your couch. Sitting down on your couch turns into another chat, turns into drinking wine, which turns into having sex, right? That's how things escalate over the course of time. And I know some of you aren't always thinking about that, but I want all of you to start thinking about that because it's a major test that men will give you. And if you don't pass it, you'll end up here. All is lost at that point, okay? Let me turn down the heat in my place. It's hot as hell in my place. Am I making sense to all of you beautiful people so far? Okay. Someone says, I don't give a damn who you are. You're not coming to my house. This is the crazy part about tests, right? Is that you can actually feel that way. And then when you're in the moment and the excuse is he's just coming in to pee, you might say to yourself, oh, well, that's not that bad. Because you're not forward thinking about how could this actually end up after he comes in and pees. Okay, right? Someone says if he needs to pee, point to a tree. That's funny. Okay, let's hop into our next point. Okay, so for point number 3, we're going to discuss change. Now, it's very important to strike a balance between what is an adjustment, right, or a compromise in a relationship, a romantic relationship with a man who's also investing in you, and what is you changing the essence of who you are to be more like what a guy wants. Let me give you an example of change that goes too far, that becomes a failed test. Let's say he doesn't like the fact that you have a really full life. You have so many friends, specifically girlfriends, that you love to hang out with. They're always inviting you for girls' trips. You guys like to take vacations. You guys like to go out to restaurants together, go out to museums together. They're not necessarily problematic girls. They're just outgoing girls who like to have fun, like to chit-chat, like to have experiences. That's the vibe and the essence of the tribe that you surround yourself with. You're like one of those girls. But you meet this guy and you really like this guy and you really want him to like you. And he tells you, well, to be honest with you, I don't really like the fact that you got so many girlfriends. They're always inviting you to this place and inviting you to that place and inviting you over here and over there. And there's always guys around because guys are around everywhere. And I don't really like that idea in general. I don't like girls that are always going out and doing different things. I would rather prefer to be with a woman that only enjoys hanging out with me. She doesn't really care about hanging out with this girl or that girl or Michelle or Samantha or Stacy or whoever. She only sees me. She only wants to spend time with me. And she only finds it fun going out and doing things with me. That's the type of girl I want. But you're this girl. And so an example of a failed test would be you saying, okay, I guess, since you like girls that only want to hang out with you, you go from being this girl who has a tribe of girls that like to go out and do things and explore to being this girl who you're like, yeah, I like hanging out with you better than anything. No, I told Michelle, yeah, I don't really want to go to that museum thing. That's dumb anyways. We already said that we were going to watch a movie together, so I'd rather just stay in and watch this movie with you. I like spending most of my time with you anyways. What is happening here? He's going, good girl. You're listening. You're changing yourself, right? Not making an adjustment, not making a compromise. You're changing the essence of who you are to be what I want you to be, right? So now, right, you don't have a personality. You don't have a foundation. You don't have an identity. Your identity is what I want your identity to be. So I tell you the list of things that you must have if you're going to be my woman, and then you figure out how to change every single aspect of who you are. I don't care how fundamental it is to your personality. If I say I don't like a girl who laughs, you don't laugh, right? This is how serious it'll get. This is why I say it's a test. They want to see how far you'll go with your change, right? Then slowly but surely, even when you change the one thing, then it'll become another thing. Then it'll become another thing. Then it'll become another thing. That's how you end up in a situation, if you've ever seen it or been in it, where you're like, oh my God. Tell me if you've ever seen this from either from a friend or if you've been this girl, where people will say about a girl that's in a relationship, they'll be like, oh my God, I don't even recognize you anymore. I don't recognize your personality, the way you talk, the way you look. Your glow is different. You don't even have a glow no more. Like just your whole essence or it's just different. I don't even know who you are anymore, right? That's this. That's when these tests continue on in every aspect of a person's identity, a woman's identity, to the point where she's changed so much about herself to be what that specific guy likes and that specific guy wants, that she becomes unrecognizable to what her previous identity was over the course of time. This is why I say this is a test you don't want to begin failing from the very beginning, because once you start failing it, you'll just get into this snowball effect that makes things go really, really bad, really, really fast. Okay? Are we on the same page? Viva says, yeah, I've seen this happen to shawties. It's very sad. It's very sad. Someone said this is familiar, not this exact scenario, but yeah, funny. Let's hop into point number 4, actually. My mic working? Okay. All right. So for point number 4, we're going to discuss silence. Now, this is a very tricky one. See, I understand when a guy gives you energy, it can become very addicting as a woman, because him giving you attention, telling you you're beautiful, telling you how much he wants to marry you, telling you how much he wants to spend his life with you, it like fills up your ego, it fills up your spirit, it makes you feel nice and feminine, super beautiful, super amazing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel that, but you never want to be like this, okay? You want your emotions to be more like this. And even if they do take a little bit of a bump, they take small bumps where it's more sustainable. Why do I say that? Because another one of the big tests men will use on you is silence. They will use silence as a way to see how desperate are you for my validation and what are you willing to do for that validation, right? And this is the craziest part about this test. Some guys even do this inadvertently, by accident, just because they're busy or just because they're doing things. And they'll go from meeting you, seeming like they're so interested in you, talking to you every day, calling you 24/7, and then just one random day, they won't call you. They won't text you. They'll seem distant from you. They'll seem uninterested in you. And then the silence that this fills, right? The same way when he was giving you a lot of energy, it was taking you up through the moon. Now that he's not giving you as much energy and he's being silent, now you're down in the dumps, okay? This is a very dangerous place to be in, because when you're in this state, a lot of women make major mistakes. Let's be so for real. Majority of the private questions that I help women with, situations that I help women solve, okay, problems and issues that they have, happens 90% in this state right here, where a man is giving some sort of silence or taking away his energy in some way, shape, or form or fashion. And then because of that, the reaction that you have is, oh, okay, I'm scared now. What's happening? What are we doing? Oh my God, we've lost him. Oh my God, control, code red. We need to do something. We need to act different. We need to text him. We need to call, like, and you just freak out. You lose your mind. And this is why I say it's a failed test. And it is a test in itself, because a lot of women, when they're happy, it's easy to stand on what you're about. It's easy to have your identity. It's easy to say no to a man. It's easy to feel like you're in a position of power. As soon as women get into this area, and then they have the mental state where they're kind of having a breakdown because they're like, oh my God, what do I do now? This guy's not giving me energy. Now, all of a sudden, the first thing that they run to is, let me change up everything that I've been doing to be a feminine woman, to allow him to approach me, to chase me, to pursue me. I need to switch up the entire strategy, okay? In fact, let me use a different strategy that consists of me reaching out to him, me texting him, me calling him, me checking up on him, me planning my own dates. Oh my God. I don't even want to rant here, okay? There's a lot of times where even things like silence will have a woman reaching out to a man to plan her own date. Oh, I was hoping that this Wednesday you could take me out to this Mexican spot across the street. I'm available on Saturday at 9 p.m. and I was hoping that was the time and the place that you could take me out. Literally planning your own date. He hasn't even said a word to you. But because of that silence, it's brought out your desperation and you failed the test. Because whenever a guy gives you silence, whether it be accidentally or whether it be on purpose, we want you to pass the test by showing him that he is not going to be able to control you and control your emotions by whether or not he chooses to give you energy or take it away from you. This is, maybe I should have put this at number 1, but this is such a vital test and step to establishing the power dynamic in your relationship. I know a lot of y'all don't want to play games and everything sounds like a game, but I promise you, when you build a relationship with anyone, platonic, with family, romantic, there is a power dynamic, okay? Everyone is fighting and battling for power. And if you show him during this time where he is silent, that you will fold, that you will do things outside of your character, that you will change up your entire strategy, you are giving him so much power. You are showing him that he is in control of your emotions. He can take you up high and he can take you down low. Once you establish that, the amount of power you've given him in this relationship allows him to say, you know what? Now I get to be in control. I get to call the shots. I get to be the boss. And because I'm the boss, we're going to do things my way. What happens when you start doing things his way? You don't get any of the commitment. You don't get any of the consistency. You don't get any of the princess treatment. None of the things that you want out of a relationship. You don't get none of that. Because he gets to say, even if you don't get any of that, your anxiety, your desperation, your need to fill this silence and return back to this place where you're getting my validation is going to eat you alive and force you to compromise on everything that you thought you wanted. Okay? Are we on the same page? Flower says, I discipline myself to meet the silence of others with my silence in return. Every time I do that, I pass my own test for myself. It's my flex. I agree. And you're also showing the guy that he's not going to be able to control you and control your emotions with whether or not he's giving you energy. I'm telling you, there's a power dynamic at play. Vivia says, learning from Tommy, learning to do nothing, it's freeing. I'm also learning that chasing and fixing is not my job. I'm not the man. 100%. I say it just like that too. It's not your job to be doing that. Let's hop into our fifth point. Okay, now we're going to discuss for point number 5, we're going to discuss punishment, okay? Such an important test for men. Okay, I don't want to make men sound evil, like horrible people, but you have to understand this isn't even just a man thing, this is a human being thing. When people meet you, they will test you to see how much they can get away with. I'm going to say it again so you don't miss it. When people meet you, eventually at some point in your relationship, in your friendship, they will test you to see how much they can get away with. Everyone in your life is going to do that to you at some point. Even you do that to other people. Remember, I told you, relationships are also power dynamics. When you build a relationship with anyone, you're establishing a dynamic. Who's in control? What can someone get away with? What can someone not get away with? How much respect do you have to show the other person? How much can you disrespect the other person? Okay? When guys meet you, understand from the very beginning, we're live, we're on air. You have to be thinking about these things. So when it comes to punishment, you have to understand and anticipate at some point in our relationship, whether it be in a small way or in a big way, you are going to give me a reason to have to punish you. At that point, this is a very pivotal point in our relationship. I must pass this test by showing you I am going to punish you for actions that you do that are wrong. And your punishment is going to be relative to how much disrespect you show me or how far you go. The same way, if you commit an unaliving, you're getting 25 to life. Now, if you commit a petty crime like going to the store and stealing candy, you might get a little fine. Maybe you get a couple of days in jail or something like that, right? Your punishment is relative to how bad the act is, how bad the crime is. You also have to be understanding, in order to pass this test of punishment, you must be on top of punishing men for committing crimes, okay? In this scenario, a crime would be disrespect, a crime would be inconsistency, a crime would be carelessness. How do you put men in jail? You do not put men in jail by spam texting them. You do not put men in jail by crashing out on them. You do not put men in jail by cursing them out. You do not put men in jail by calling them a million times, okay? You put men in jail by pretending they do not exist. You give them no energy. You give them no time. You pay them no mind. You pretend like your life is going on happy as hell, looking sexy as hell without them. That is how you punish men. Every time The punishment that you're going to give him, or the amount of punishment you're going to give him in that sense, is just going to change depending on how crazy or how small the crime that he did is, I should say. Yeah, the crime that he did is, how crazy it is. So what that means is if the crime is extreme, like he cheated, you're gone forever, okay? Now, if the crime is something small, like, hey, he was doing a little bit of unnecessary flirting, maybe going a little bit too far, then maybe the way that you pull back your energy is a little bit less, but still enough for him to notice it and for it to be addressed and for it to be uncomfortable, right? So you make that relative, but you always make sure to punish that man by withdrawing your attention, withdrawing your time, withdrawing your love, because that's how men actually know they're in trouble. And then you use that to help him recognize you will be punished for your actions, okay? Make no mistake about it. If you do wrong, you will get punished. You will go to jail, okay? I won't feel sorry for you. I'm not going to cry for you. You're not going to be able to excuse your way out of it. You're not going to be able to smooth talk your way out of it. I'm not going to feel bad about punishing you, okay? I don't care how much you whimper, how much you cry, how much you give a little sad puppy dog face. I don't care. You will be punished. This, like I say, men will test you. Whether you like it or not, at some point he's going to test you. You have to pass this test by making sure no matter what, how you feel about him, how handsome he is, how tall he is, how sexy he is, how big his D is, you always punish. Always. Always. Okay? Someone says, ignore him or just say I didn't like it. No, it's not necessary to say you didn't like it, because a lot of times when you think about trying to punish a man by telling him how little you like it, that always leads to you crashing out, okay? When I say crashing out, just think of going crazy. When you go crazy on a guy, it's the worst thing you could possibly do. It makes his pee-pee hard, okay? Guys' pee-pees get very, very erect, extremely erect. Crazy erection bursting through his pants when you go crazy on them, when you crash out on them. They love it. We need to, oh man. Tomorrow, someone remind me in the Discord, send me a message or send me on Instagram. I need to show you guys literal videos of men talking to men about how amazing it is when a woman crashes out on them. They love it. They love when you go crazy on them. They love when you curse them out. They love when you tell them and show them how important they are to you with all of that attention. Okay, I'm telling you, they love it. That's not punishment. Okay. So number 6, we're going to talk about the ask. This is very, very interesting. I'm going to break down this example scenario with you so we can understand here. For men, see, if you've ever, let me say this first and then we'll go to some examples, okay? Every time you show a man that you're willing to inconvenience yourself a little bit for him, trust me, there's going to come another ask that will inconvenience you just a little bit more. And if you let this process go on for too long, you'll end up inconveniencing yourself in ways you never even imagined possible. Let me use this example here so you can get what I mean. So you meet a guy, right? And you like him, you think he's hot, you think he's sexy, so you want him to like you as well. So he asks you, hey, can I come sleep over? I just like your vibe. I like your place. So you're like, sure, you can come sleep over. We can do a thing. I like your vibe too. I want to spend time with you. I want to get D down for sure. And I want to spend time with you as well. I like you. So he comes over. Nothing particularly wrong about that. But this is where you can start to lose track of things. Now one day, after he's gotten used to sleeping over regularly and you've gotten used to him sleeping over regularly, he is out, at a club one night with his boys, but he just happens to be out at a club that's in the area of where your apartment building is. So let's say around 2 a.m., 30 minutes before the club closes, he calls you up and he says, hey, I'm off that handout for real, yo. I just finished at the club. Shawty, like, what you saying? What you saying? Where you at? You went out tonight? Oh, you sleep? Nah, you gotta wake your ass up, girl. What you saying? What you saying? I'm finna pull up on you for real talk. Nah, I'm pulling up on you tonight. What you mean? Yo, I'm trying to see you tight shit. What you on tight? Yo, leave the door open for me for real. Yeah. What's the bus code? Okay, 67. Okay, yeah. All right, I'll be there at 50. All right. So this is what happens, right? Now, he's gonna come over after the club. So you're thinking, oh, this is a vibe, this is cool, this is whatever, you know, we vibe and I like his vibe, I'm gonna go D down, it's all cool, right? So he comes over, he sleeps over. Now we start to create a routine out of that, where he's going to the club, he's going out places, he's coming over, and he's crashing at your place afterwards. Then we get to a point where he's like, oh, you know, I don't even have that much to do today, but I know you're gonna go to work, so why don't I just stay here while you go to work and I'll just chill out and I'll be here by the time you come back, right? And you're thinking, oh, that sounds like a vibe. You know, I could come right back home, get some D as soon as I come back home and he's still here, right? So all of this just seems like a vibe to you. So you, leave the key, leave an extra key for him so he can go out, in and out and things like that. All cool, all good, right? Then eventually it gets to a point where he's like, wait, why don't you just give me my own key? And then I'll just come in and out as I please. That way I never have to call you whenever I want to pull up on you. And you're like, huh, you know what? That sounds like a vibe. You know, you can have a key, pull up whenever you want, right? Now this guy is using your place as his place. He's actually pulling up whenever he feels like it. When you're not home, when, you know, he's out late with his guys, he comes in drunk and you're not getting sleep because he's waking you up in the middle of the night. I've seen these things happen. Trust me, I've been very, very close to these things, okay? And then we get to a point that you never thought you would be in, but now you're here, simply by inconveniencing yourself over and over again, over the course of time. Then eventually he gets so comfortable that he's like, you know what? I want to have a little get together. I want to have a little vibe. I want to have a little pre. So before he goes out to the club with his group of friends, which includes other girls that he's also smashing, he says, I got a key to a place that's downtown right by the place we're going to go out to the club. I'm just going to invite people over, have the pre at your place, and then we're all going to go out without you because I know you got other things to do. Maybe you got work and all this other stuff. So then he invites, I've been at these pre, so I know this to be true. So then he invites a bunch of people, including girls that he's also smashing, to your place to have a pre for the going out to the club all together. And then all these people, drunk people, come over to your place that you don't know. They're breaking stuff, things falling over. They're putting their shoes on your carpet and on your floor. People are sitting on your bed in their outside clothes. And all that fast, you're getting taken advantage in a major way just by simply allowing yourself to be inconvenienced by this man's ass over and over and over again, and never knowing how to actually just say, no, this is too much. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care how much of a vibe you are. I don't care how cool we're getting. There will never be a point where I'm going to let you do certain things, okay? No matter how cool we are. And the reason I say this is because I know a lot of women get into a place where they become so comfortable or they like a guy so much that they have a harder and harder time saying no as time goes on, right? Because each step of the way, when you say one ask, and then you feel closer to this man, the next time, the next ask feels harder to say no to because you're like, well, we're so close now. How can I say no to this guy? Until finally, you're not able to say no to even the wildest of asks. Okay? Does that make sense? Someone said, am I growing a beard? No, I just haven't shaved in a couple of days, but I'll shave this. I don't like growing my facial hair very long, right? Someone said, you can't use my place as a den. Only a psycho would do this? This is crazy. Hannah and all you other women that be thinking I'm making up examples, you better believe, we have a lot of people that watch the show, watch my videos. Don't think that just because people don't comment about it and people don't admit to it, that it's not happening. Trust me, I help hundreds of women a day. So I see all type of scenarios, or I get all type of DMs. I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't know that it's actually happening. But I know that some things that happen are just too embarrassing for people to want to talk about in public. So we'll leave it at that, okay? Now, number 7, let's discuss disrespect, okay? Similar to punishment, what you have to understand is there's always kind of a balancing act where men are seeing How much disrespect are you willing to tolerate before you'll actually walk away from him? Okay. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with punishment, because as you're punishing a guy correctly, relevant in correlation to how much disrespect he's showing you, there will be an understanding of, okay, you're not going to be tolerating that much disrespect before you'll actually walk away. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, if this has a crazy imbalance, meaning you're not punishing him relevant to the disrespect he's showing you, you're not doing a good job of staying on top of that and keeping that balance healthy, now all of a sudden, he feels like he can show you a crazy amount of disrespect and you're gonna tolerate that disrespect. Then what happens is eventually you'll get to a place where he'll put you in a very precarious situation. He'll disrespect you so much, not just in your face, in front of other people that you know, whether it be your girlfriends, your family, or a combination of both, or just in public in general. And he'll disrespect you in a way where he'll literally look into your eyes and say, hypothetically, I dare you to do something about it. I dare you. He'll get to a point, and I'm telling you, I've seen this happen with women. He will disrespect you so crazy. Your only option, if you want to stand up for yourself and have any self-respect, is to end the relationship right then and there. But when guys get so brazen because you're not passing the test of giving the proper amount of punishment, they will dare you to do something about this level of disrespect. Okay, right? An example of that could be like getting to the point where you don't say anything to him about the way he's interacting and flirting with girls, to the point where he's literally grabbing up on a girl, grabbing her ass, dancing with her in front of you. I know some of you be like, I would never allow that to happen. I'm telling you, I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen some crazy stuff, right? When people are getting away with things for long enough, they become so brazen and so bold with their disrespect. They dare you to stand up for yourself. They literally dare you. They want to see even if I disrespect you so crazy that everyone around you tells you I'm disrespecting you, will you still be such a coward that you don't stand up for yourself? They want to see, they want to test it. I'm telling you the truth, okay? That's just how it be. All right, let's hop into our 8th point. Now, for point number 8, we're going to discuss hope. Hope is a drug. A very intense, very addictive drug. Men will use hope to control you, because you will become like a mouse chasing your cheese. Hope will become your cheese, and you'll be running around in circles constantly trying to chase hope. Someone in the chat said hopium, okay? Right? It's called hopium. Now, the reason that this is a test is because if a guy understands that giving you hope will make it so that you will continue to put your best foot forward in the relationship, hoping that eventually things will change, even though they never do, he knows that this is a perfect dynamic, a perfect place for the relationship to sit, where you're just a hamster running on a wheel. Okay? The best example that I can give of that is being in a situationship with a man that instead of him telling you, look, to be honest with you, I don't want to date you. I'm never going to want to date you, no matter what you do, no matter how you dress, no matter how you talk, no matter how much you cook for me, I am never going to want to wife you. Instead of him saying that, he says, you know what? I don't really know what I want. I'm unsure about what I want. I'm just kind of feeling it through. I'm just kind of figuring it out. You know, maybe one day I'll want you. But maybe one day I'll want something else. I just don't know yet. We'll see. And you obviously have hope that one day he'll want to be with you. So what do you continue to do? You continue to do everything in your power to be a wifey to him. Take care of him when he's not feeling well. Go to his house. Show up at his place like DoorDash. Oh my God. Show up to his place like DoorDash. Drive hours to go to his place to have sex with him. Some of you are spending your own money on gas, on a train, on a bus to show up at his place. He hasn't paid for nothing. He opens the door. He fucks you. Oh my God, I'm not supposed to say that. He has sex with you, and then you go on your way. like DoorDash. And what are you doing that out of? You're doing that out of the hope that as you do that, he will like you more, and eventually he'll decide that he wants to date you. But this is why I say this is a test. When men give you non-answer, when they don't give you clarity as to what they want in this relationship, what they want in general, what the timeline of what they want is, or how they want to build this, or where they want this to go, when they don't provide you with clarity, they're hoping that you will live off hopium. The longer you can live off hopium, the better it is for him to be able to control you and get you to continue giving that girlfriend treatment, get you to continue overextending yourself, get you to continue inconveniencing yourself in the hope that one day your situation will look how you want it to look, even though he knows it's never going to look like that. Okay? Are we on the same page? Right? Blossom said, God, they really hate us, don't they? I don't think it's as much about hate as, I don't think it's as much about them, men hating you, as it is men thinking about themselves and their own needs, and just looking at you as a way to serve their own needs and desires. Which is why, when I talk about all these things in the Players Club and on my show, I am trying to help you be more strategic and start thinking about your needs and desires so that you can stop getting taken advantage of by men, right? There's also men that will think about their own needs and desires, but they will still want to serve you as their man, right? As they are your man, okay? But there's men that will think about their own needs and desires selfishly as just taking advantage of you, okay? So that's why I say, let's get strategic. Let's build a plan. Let's build our knowledge and understanding so that we can actually fight back and we can stop getting taken advantage of over and over again in the same ways. But everyone wants to say, well, that's games. But the reality of it is, the reason you're watching the video, the reason you're here, the reason you're affected by the things that I discuss is because in some capacity, you feel like those games have been played on you. So if we don't end up helping you be strategic, you're just going to continue to be frustrated, okay? Let's hop into our 9th point, okay? So we're going to talk about actions. This, for some of you, is going to be very painful because this is going to be a very painful realization. The same way we talk about don't listen to his words, listen to his actions, you need to abide by those same set of rules. Let me give you an example. So you go on your date and you're on your high horse talking about, I hope you don't think I'm like any of those other girls you dated. You thought you had a girl with a fat, can I say ass? With a fat ass. I'm the girl with the fattest ass. You thought you had a girl that was spicy. I'm the spiciest. You thought you had a girl that was smart. I'm the smartest. You thought you had a bad B. I'm the baddest B you done ever met. And if you think you gonna get away with the same stuff that you got away with those girls, you ain't getting away with that with me, okay? So you're talking up a big game and you're making yourself seem like, oh, you the biggest, baddest ever, okay? Then you sleep with him on the very first night of the date. And this is where I want to talk about something that I said I would touch on earlier, okay? I want you all to understand this concept because I know what you listen to, I know what you watch, I know what you consume. So we need to address this now. This is going to be probably the most important part of the show. Please, I love you and I care about you. I want to see you succeed. I know you listen to things like 50 Shades of Grey, 365 Days, you'll read your smut books, you'll read your dark fantasy and dark romance books. I'm not saying stop doing that. I'm not saying stop enjoying that. I'm not saying stop touching yourself to that. But what I am saying is understand this concept, okay? When you say something like this is a very important statement to make. You have to back this up. There's a lot of women that get here, and what will happen is they think it's cute to be like, oh, I'm the prey, and you're coming after me. Oh my God, and you're just a big, strong man that's gonna take me over. So when I say no, I'm not that type of woman, what I really want is for you to be such a big, strong, stern man that you take it from me anyways. I know what's in your dark romance books, I know. So you're thinking it's cute to let him have his way with you because he's so persuasive, because he's such a man, because he's so masculine, so strong, and just such a monster, such a beast, like in your dark romance novels. But the problem is, this is not a dark romance novel. And it's not having the same effect as you're imagining that it has. So when you do this, thinking, oh, I just let him be the predator and I'm the prey, and it was like, one of those dark romance novels, and it was the first night and he was just so intense, he wanted me so badly that, but we're forgetting all of this. We're forgetting all of this, okay? Because now you've just taken all of this, you scratched it out, and you've made yourself look like a fool, okay? And this is a major test. I would rather, truthfully, if you're gonna go out on a date with a man, I would rather you sleep with him on the first night and not say anything like this than for you to say this and then proceed to sleep with him. Because at least if you don't say this and you just sleep with him, we can make it seem like, hey, you planned to do it, you did what you wanted to do, nobody coerced or convinced you to do nothing, okay? That was your decision. But when you do this, this makes you look very silly, very foolish, very dumb, right? When you say this and then you end up doing that, what happens is guys say, okay, noted. She is not a serious woman at all. Now, from now on, anytime she speaks on her desires, unimportant to me. Anytime she warns me about, hey, if you keep doing this, I'm gonna break up with you and I'm gonna walk away, don't listen to none of that. None of that matters, right? Now, from now on in your relationship, once you do something like this, you show him he doesn't have to take anything you say with your mouth seriously, nothing. Because you don't even know how to back up your own words with actions that make sense. And a lot of women subtly just miss this step on the very first night. And just immediately from that point forward, he has no respect for you and he doesn't listen to anything that you have to say. It always just goes in one ear and out the other. But it starts with you, and it starts with showing him that when I say I won't do something, when I say I'm not like those other type of girls that you can sleep with on the first night and you can do whatever you want with and da-da-da, I actually mean that. And I'm not gonna be cute about the fact that, oh wow, you convinced me, oh wow, you persuaded me, oh wow, this is a dark romance novel. That's not cute, okay? That's not a vibe, that's not nothing, okay? All that is you showing him that your actions do not match your words. And as soon as you show a man that, you're cooked. You're well done. You're over well done. You're so cooked. This is why I say, I know for some of you this is disappointing. Once you do stuff like this, there's not reversing it, okay? When you talk like this and then you proceed to sleep with him that same night, you might as well pack your stuff and go home. You might as well just pack your stuff and go home, to be honest with you, okay? Now, number 10. We're going to discuss the confirmation, okay? Now, this is something they're all important today. I keep saying this one's so important. This one is actually important as well, because this is one we haven't gotten a chance to discuss. I keep getting these in private questions, so I want to address this one. This one gets very confusing for some of you. So we're going to break down a whole week scenario, and we're going to break down the idea of what timing should look like and why this ends up being a test to see where you're at mentally. Confirmation. So let's pretend that you're supposed to go out on a dinner date with the guy. Monday, he asks you out on this dinner date, okay? So, I love sushi, so it's gonna be a sushi date that he plans with you on Thursday. Thursday is the dinner date day, okay? So Thursday is your dinner date day. Now, because of that, and because of the fact that he's not a huge texter or a huge caller, he just kind of pulls up on you when he pulls up on you. He doesn't really text you on the Tuesday, let's just say for the sake of example. So now, Wednesday, at some point during the day, you're expecting some sort of confirmation about tomorrow, okay? So the day of the date comes on Thursday, and let's say the date is at 7 p.m. Now you're kind of unsure on what to do because it's the morning of Thursday. He hasn't given you a confirmation on Wednesday night, he didn't text you on Tuesday, and he asked you out on Monday. So now you don't know what to do. This is where I say this is a test. It's a major test, okay? And it's a confusing test for a lot of women, which is why they fail it. On this Thursday, let's say for the sake of example, this guy texts you 30 minutes before the date, and he's like, oh, I'm pulling up here, I'm gonna be there in 30 minutes. Your response should be, well, enjoy your time by yourself because I'm doing something else now, okay? And The reason I say that, I know so for some of you it's confusing because you're like, wait, but he asked me out on a date. What do you mean I should tell him I'm doing something else? The reason for that is we want to be structured while allowing people the space to be an adult. We still need to have a semblance of understanding that communication is important. And if he's not willing to communicate with you like an adult, there will be consequences for that. This is why I say this is a big test a lot of people fail. Now, what you should be doing during this time is you should say, okay, you're asking me out on Monday, Thursday is fine. We can do the dinner date at 7 p.m. Now, what I want you to have in your mind so that none of you are confused when it comes to how to pass this test is up until 3 hours before the time of the date. So if the date is scheduled at 7 p.m., he has until 4 p.m., okay? At 4 p.m., if he has not sent you a text confirming the fact that you guys are going out on this date and the fact that you guys are meeting at this restaurant, or some sort of corroboration of, hey, we're doing this at this time here, this is what the plan is, you don't get prepared, don't put your makeup on, don't put your jeans on, and even if you do get ready, you get ready to go somewhere else, okay, with your girlfriends or by yourself. The reason I say this is because you do not want men to get into the habit of thinking, hey, I can kind of book you how and when I feel like. I can forget about you, stash you away, and come back to you when I'm ready. Okay? If he's not going to approach this with professionalism, trying to think of a different word, but professionalism is really the best word. Professionalism with being scheduled, being organized, and being planned, well, then he's just not that serious about it. And here's the other part of the test, because a lot of women get confused. They say, okay, well, if I'm going to deny this dinner date on Thursday because he waited till 30 minutes before to confirm with me after not saying anything for the whole rest of the week, well, then when do I see him again? What if he's like, okay, let's see each other on Friday. Should I see him that day? No. This is, again, where a lot of women fail this test. You don't just say, okay, well, yeah, you forgot, you didn't communicate, so I'll see you the next day. It's not enough of a punishment for him to feel like he made a mistake, like he needs to make an adjustment. What you have to say is say, nope, we didn't go on this dinner date Thursday. I know you're disappointed. You don't have to say that you're disappointed, even though you are, but you say, I know you're disappointed, but you're not going to see me on Friday. I have other stuff to do. So the closest that you can schedule me, if you want to schedule me now, is going to be Saturday or Sunday. That is how you pass this test, because now it forces him to say, damn, I missed out on this opportunity to see her by not being communicative with her and letting her know what's going on ahead of time, being organized and scheduled with the way that I see her, and bringing a level of seriousness and professionalism to the way that I date her, and intentionality. Now I'm paying the price for that. The price is not just I won't see her tonight, so I'll see her tomorrow, okay? The price is I'm not seeing her tonight, I'm not seeing her tomorrow, and at closest, it will be Saturday or Sunday before I can see her again. And if my schedule doesn't end up, let's just say for the sake of example, your schedule makes it so that even on these two closest days, you're actually not busy, well, then it's going to have to be next week. Or if he's busy on these weekends or whatever the case may be, well, then we're going to have to wait until we're both free. And that just sucks. And you have to, this is an example, a specific kind of punishment, but you have to show him that way that, hey, I understand you made a mistake. I understand maybe you thought something that it wasn't, or maybe you just, it was a miscommunication, but now I'm letting you know, if you want to date me, you're going to be planned, you're going to be scheduled, you're going to be organized, because I'm not going to be one of those women that's running around like a chicken with my head cut off, getting ready for a date that I don't even know if it's happening. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what the address is. I'm a feminine woman. So when I show up glowing, I show up radiating, I show up at peace. I am not going to stress myself out trying to figure out and decipher your clues and your hieroglyphics to understand where I'm supposed to meet you, when I'm supposed to meet you, and if I'm supposed to meet you. Okay? I'm not going to stress myself out that way. If you're going to put me in a position to have to do that, you just won't see me. Very simple. So you can make a choice on how you want to approach this, but those are your only options. Okay? And that's how it has to be for this test. Do you guys have any more questions about any of the 10 that we just discussed here today? Okay. Vivia says, how long between date suggestions versus actual date? Like, can you take a day like they said, or 3 days? I would always say, well, what would you describe this? So from Monday, he can't see you on Tuesday. I would always say at the very, very, very minimum, it needs to be 48 hours from when he asks you to when you guys actually go out on that date. At the very minimum, 48. 48 is good enough where it's like you're not frantic, you're not stressed out, you can move stuff around in your schedule, and then by the time you show up on that date, you're showing up with good energy. Not like, oh my God, let me scramble and change everything about my life and my schedule, and now I'm stressed out, now I haven't done a bunch of stuff I'm supposed to do. That gives you enough time to be able to like show up in the headspace you're supposed to show up. So if he asks you out on Monday, it shouldn't be at least until Wednesday. If he asks you out on Wednesday, it shouldn't be at least until Friday. That way it gives you time to show up how you're supposed to be showing up, okay? Let me scroll up here. There was another question. Someone said, yes, 6 months in advance, I'm not playing. Henya says, it would be a challenge for me to want to see him again at all. You're talking about after he did that with the date. See, I know a lot of women might say that in the chat, but you know, also in reality, when you really like a guy, for some of you, it's hard to not see him after you know you've been looking forward to seeing him for so long. And I know it's hard because you're like, wait, but I'm disappointed too. Am I not allowed to express disappointment? It's not that, but it's about understanding that the real process here is helping him understand how he has to go about approaching you. And as hard and as tough as it is for you to feel like, damn, well, I wanted to see him, can't I just compromise on? No, you can't. You can't. Because you're doing yourself a disservice and your future self a disservice, because then when he does that over and over again, or he's planning dates same day, then you're going to be really frustrated. Okay? You're going to be very frustrated. Melita says, I will put 4 or 5 days between scheduling and the date. It also depends on how busy you are. If you have a full-time job, a career, you have children as well, a lot of things going on, then maybe 2 days is way too little of notice for you, which is fair, okay? I don't want that to be like a hard cement thing where you believe that you have to accept a date just because I said, hey, give it at least 2 days. But in a scenario in which you're busier, you can give it more time because that's just what makes sense for you. Okay. Flower says, he just has to wait until I'm available when my schedule permits and he makes a firm appointment. Precisely. But you also have to make sure you don't let your anxiety or the fact that the problem is not when we're listening to the show or when you're talking to a guy that you don't like that much. The problems always arise when you're finally talking to a guy that you're really interested in. Oh, he's 6'3". Oh, he's sexy. He has straight teeth. Oh my God, look at his D. Oh my God, look at his muscles, right? Then that's when you start making a lot of compromises for things that you would regularly not make compromise for, okay? Class says he's gone, moved on, married with 2.5 kids. What? Vivia says, yeah, that's what I meant, the minimum. Obviously not an all the time thing. Yes, as a minimum. Okay. Waiting is good for a man. I have a life. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. All right. Damn, I know you guys are going to have some questions because it's Mondays. Someone says, do men test their dream women? Yes. I don't want you guys to think that this isn't something that happens even with women that men want to be with. Like, I want you guys to understand that a lot of these tests are even a function of things that guys will do inadvertently or even accidentally in a relationship, because when you build any relationship with someone, you're always going to be establishing a power dynamic. Even with your brothers and sisters, your cousins, your nephews, your best girlfriends, you're always establishing a power dynamic. You know, if I asked you right now, okay? If I asked any of you, in your group of girlfriends, who would be best described as the team leader? You know the answer to that question, okay? You do. Truthfully, in your heart, you know the answer to that question, whether it's you or whether it's someone else that would probably be better described as the team leader. Why am I saying that? Am I saying that to say, oh, the other people are less than them? No, it's because anytime you gather a group of people, whether it's a platonic relationship, whether it's a friendly relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, there always is an established dynamic, a hierarchy, because that's the way we interact as humans. We have to establish dynamics and hierarchies in our relationships, okay, in order to categorize them and understand them properly. So what do I mean by that? when you meet a guy, whether or not he likes you, whether or not you like him, you're always establishing and building a foundation of what your dynamic is and who's in a position of power, what things are allowed, what things aren't allowed. Once you establish that dynamic over the course of time, that becomes the new standard and expectation for the relationship. And that's why I say, for a lot of you that say, Tomisin, I listened to all your advice and I listened to all your videos, and I just want to let you know that the guy that I'm talking to right now, I've done absolutely everything wrong that you said I shouldn't do. And I want to know, how can I reverse everything I've done wrong this entire 3-year situationship and make it so that he's madly in love with me? And my answer is, it doesn't work like that. Okay? If you really are serious about changing your life, changing your romantic life, changing your situation, it's not taking this advice and using it on the guy who you've been in a situationship for 3 years and trying to turn it around. It's about taking this advice and understanding, okay, I see where I made mistakes. Let me cut my losses with this guy. But now knowing when I reestablish a new relationship in the future, I have to abide by these from the very beginning. No slip-ups from the very beginning. This is why I say, don't be going on your dates looking to just have a good time. This isn't fun time. You're on a mission. You have to be thinking, you have to be strategic, right? F all the other people, oh, but that's not fun. That's not what love is supposed to be. If you're strategic and you become successful, other people who are just doing it for love, they will be envious of your situation. And they will ask you, how did you get that guy? Oh my God, how do you get him to treat you like that? How do you get him to just, anytime you lift a finger, he wants to do things for? How do you get your man madly in love with you? Why is your man always hard when he's around you, looking into your eyes, telling you how beautiful you are? I wish my man would give me a compliment. Because you're strategic. You don't just go off of your emotions or how you feel or just hoping that things will fall in place. When you're strategic, you do things strategically and you get a strategic result. Meanwhile, every other woman who doesn't bother to do that ends up with a mishmash of results, and they're all disappointed and frustrated with it. And they're disappointed and frustrated with their relationships. Trust me, it's better for you to be strategic because you will be a happier version of yourself because of it. Don't let all these other people convince you that it's a crime or it's bad to be strategic or it's playing games. Because when you play the game right and you win the game, then people will look at you and ask you how you did it. And that's like in life. That's like in life. Okay? Miko says, I told him I will call him in a few days. He called me for 5 days, blew up my phone just to ghost me and block me today. Did I hurt his ego? Is this payback? I mean, that would require more context on what that even stemmed from. But what I would say is, if he blocked you, then good riddance. You know, move on with your life. You don't ever want to be in I mean, unless you actually did something particularly wrong, like you disrespected a guy, or you know what I mean, like you're actually in the wrong. If a guy is just having, you know, an issue with you because you didn't answer him or you didn't call him back or whatever, and he chooses to block you, just move on with your life. There's no reason for you to be in a position where you're begging a man for his time and attention. It's not going to work out for you. Okay? Excuse me. Flower says, in my opinion, if we pass the test, that's how we can become his dream woman. Am I right? Yes and no. This is the best way to have the type of self-respect where a guy will be able to take you seriously. Now, am I going to say that that's going to guarantee that that man will fall in love with you and guarantee that he's going to want to propose to you on the spot? No, I'm not going to guarantee that. But when he respects you and when he sees that you have self-respect, the chances of him wanting to wife you are exponentially higher than if you don't pass these tests, truthfully and honestly. And I agree with you that the dream woman in his life, in his mind, would pass these tests. Because being a dream woman is not about just being super pretty, having a really fat ass that when you walk by, he's mesmerized. It's also about when he finally meets you, you live up to the expectation of a dream woman, right? Because it would be disappointing if you were his dream woman based on your looks, and then he met you and you have no self-respect, or you don't know how to set boundaries, or you're someone who makes all of these other mistakes, right? Just let him use you, just let him take advantage of you. You're not going to be the dream woman after a while, right? You don't want to be one of those women that it's like when they see you, they're so in love with you, and then when you open your mouth or when they actually meet you and get to know your personality, then they're just like, oh, ill, right? Because I know you have some of that for guys that you meet. You're like, wow, you were the hottest before you opened your mouth. Now when you open your mouth, I'm like, yeah, okay? The same thing can happen for you. But the way that you do that is not by trying to be nicer to guys. It's not by trying to be more cool for them. It's by making sure that when you talk about things, you take action on them, that you have boundaries, you have self-respect, you have an identity, you're not someone that can be easily persuaded, all the stuff that we talked about. That's what will make them actually be like, oh, she's interesting. I get it now. I actually want her now. Okay. Someone says, I literally have one like that, but after becoming anxious because I stopped punching, I'm here, want to turn it back around. Well, it depends on your situation. I don't like to make guarantees that you're just going to be able to turn your situation all the way around and all of a sudden he's going to be madly in love with you after you've been doing everything wrong for multiple years. Okay. That's very, very difficult. Tyler says, someone I really messaged, what? Someone messaged me asking for my schedule so he can plan everything out. He wants to experience my energy in person. So I give it to him in detail. I would say, sure. If he's asking specifically for your entire schedule, like, you know, let's say he's like, what's your schedule for the next month? So that he can plan dates with you for the next month. Sure, give him your schedule for the next month. But what I'll say, Tyler, and I'll say to any of you, don't be offering your schedule to a man who is not asked, okay? Because I know some people do that, where it's like the guy hasn't even asked if you're free on Saturday and you're telling him you're free on Saturday, hoping that he'll plan a date with you. Don't do that, okay? Because if he wanted to know if you're free on Saturday, he would ask you if you're free on Saturday. Do not, we don't have to have another show on chasing because I have to address it again. But do not plan your own dates, okay? There's a lot of women doing that, even women that watch my show, that are planning their own dates. If that man does not inquire about your availability, do not give him your availability, okay? Stop offering your availability to men who are not asking you for your availability, okay? That is not how you get on a date, okay? Use that as a sign, observe that, and say, okay, he's not asking for my availability, that means he doesn't want to know. So I'm not gonna be prompted by telling him nothing, okay? Tyler says that's what he's asking. Yeah, then if he's asking you, then you can give him your whole schedule. Let's see if he plans out dates for months. Hey, more power to you. You're winning. Okay. Melita says maybe he doesn't want you after the test. That's good too. It is good because it's a win-win for you. You either get the guy and you have your self-respect, or if you don't get the guy, you still keep your self-respect. The worst thing to happen to you, which is what happens to a lot of you that aren't following the advice that I give, is you don't get the guy and you don't have your self-respect. That's when you start getting in this really desperate space where you're like, oh my God, I have no self-respect left. He used me. He slept with me. I got no princess treatment from him, not even a gift. I barely even got a date out of him. And then now you start thinking, how can I salvage this? How can I save this? How can I just turn this into friends with benefits so maybe I get something out of this? I don't waste a body. That's when everything just starts snowballing out of control, okay? Your fave says, to all the black women in the chat, F everyone else, we go through too much for simply existing to play it safe. Go for what you want. If it takes sheerest controversial advice to do that, do that. Well, when you say go for what you want, what do you mean by that? Because I do not, this ain't Shira's show. So I don't advise you all to be going for men, if that's what you're advising, all right? Do not be approaching men. Don't be going up to men. Don't be talking to men first. Don't be asking for men's number. You will be miserable if you do that. Okay, I don't care how rich he is. I don't care what anyone else told you about approaching men. I'm telling you as a man, you will not be successful in your dating and romantic life if you begin approaching men. Don't do that. Don't do that. It doesn't work out well. I'm not saying don't date. I'm not saying don't talk to men. I'm not saying don't flirt with men, but flirt with guys who approach you. Interact with guys who are coming to you to interact with you. Okay? Stop all this chasing and pursuing men. That's not where you want to be. If you enjoy being in your feminine energy. Now, if you like feminine men and you like being in your masculine energy and you like the feeling of pursuing a guy, be my guest. I'm just making videos for women who enjoy being in their feminine energy and enjoy receiving from men and enjoy being with masculine men. So it might be a little bit of a difference in what you're hoping for and what you're expecting versus what I'm providing. I'm providing information for women who want to be in their feminine energy and attract masculine men, okay? Other people in other dynamics, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have another dynamic or you have another type of relationship that you want to build, but I'm not teaching women how to be masculine and attract feminine men. That's not what I teach. I'm just not that content creator, okay? No diss to people who teach that, okay? Let me see here. Kenya says, I called a guy and he didn't pick up, so I left a voicemail and told him to call me when he got the message. He got this message, he sent a text, and I never responded. I did right? Told him to pick up and told him to call me. I mean, so what's the context though, Miss Kenya, of when he called you and, sorry, when you called him and he didn't pick up? Was he actually doing something? Was he at work? Was the plan that you guys were supposed to have a conversation? Okay. Paperclip says, I just found your channel and Shira is too much with her sprinkle BS. Hey, everyone, I'm not here to diss anyone. I'm not here, listen, I'm not God. I also can't pretend like I know everything that's right and everything that I say is right and everything someone else says wrong. Maybe Shira's advice works better for some of you. Maybe Shira's advice is more applicable to some of you. Maybe one of these other content creators, their advice is more applicable to some of you. I just like to stay in my lane. So if you're looking for how to get money out of a man, Shira is probably more your girl. She's going to be able to provide you with more information and value than I will. If you're trying to learn how and understand how men think, what they want, what they desire, how to interact with them on an emotional and spiritual level, I'm more of your guy because that's what I teach. And I'm also teaching you how to like attract. I don't know exactly what Shira teaches about getting guys with money. She might be teaching you how to go for the guys with money and like kind of get them to want you, but you know, it's just different from what I teach. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just more about what do you gravitate towards and what's most important to you. Do you want just more of a focus on the money and being able to have a man provide for you and be financially free? Or do you have more of a focus on like actually having a good romantic relationship on a spiritual and emotional level? It's just a matter of what your priority is, and there's no right or wrong answer. Everyone is allowed to have their preferences, okay? Paperclip says, feminine men are not attracted to me at all, and there seems to be a lot of them and less masculine men in today's society, which is exactly why I'm trying to help you attract masculine men, okay? Vivia says, we like your lane. We just want a good man and how to interact with them to get a good and fulfilling life with a good man. I think that that's, to me, I think that that's a healthy mission to have, because I also like being fair to the men in the sense that I don't expect each and every one of you to date a multi-millionaire. That's not, to me, that's not a realistic way to give you guys advice. Now, am I saying date bums? Absolutely not, okay? Am I saying date men with no direction, with no jobs? Absolutely not. But obviously, you can date a man who has direction, who is intentional, who makes good money. He's just not a multi-millionaire. And you can live a very good, healthy life with that man. So I also want to give advice for that and for those people, as opposed to just like having your focus be on, let me catch one of these multi-millionaires. Like that's not a realistic message to spread to masses, because that's not going to be everyone. That's just the reality, okay? All right, let's hop into our next segment. Our next segment is our React segment. Our React segment is where I react to story times from around the internet about dating and love and relationships. So today's story time is going to be very interesting. It won't be very long, but apparently it's very intense. So we'll see how that goes. While I get ready for our React segment, I'm going to play an intermission video. Today's intermission video comes from Mrs. Margarita. You guys love Miss Margarita. She's going to be talking about how to get over someone, I think she says, that doesn't like you back. Yeah. It's how to get over someone that doesn't want you back. So we're going to watch this for a little bit, and I'm going to get ready for our next segment, and then I'll join you guys in just a couple of moments. Okay, Miss Margarita, please take it away.
I've got it written down on my phone here, and we're going to go through them. Number one, you don't miss him, you miss the investment. This is the truest thing known to man. You miss the time, the memories, the effort that you put in, because us as women, we really lean in. We lean into the relationship. And for you to say the year that I invested, the time I took, and then he's turned around, or I've turned around, or he's cheating, or whatever it is that's ended the relationship, is not freaking fair. Because I have invested so much in this. You miss the time. You can always make more money. You can always get more things, but you can't get your time back. And that hurts. It's normal to want a return of your emotional investment. You gave up your life force, your time for this person, and you believed him. And it's not true. But continuing it, you need to reframe. Let that time go. Continuing the pursuit of this person who has shown you in no way that he is for you or wants you or likes you or anything is actually the wastage of more time and more life force. We have one go around this earth. I gave my love, and that's a strength, not a loss. That's your mantra. I believed in someone. I gave them love. He cheated. He doesn't want me anymore. I'm not for him. He lost the spark. Whatever it is that he's told you, go, oh, okay. I miss the energy that I gave him, not him. I miss my time and investment, not him. He is not the magic. The magic is the time you gave him. He is just some person like any other person walking down the street. And goodness is where you water it, right? That's where the grass is greenest. Number 2, you saw the signs, but you overrode them. You're not crazy. You knew, but you wanted to believe the potential. You wanted to believe the potential of somebody, and that is a lesson for you for the future. You saw all the signs. You wanted to believe the potential. He said he's not interested. He said he just isn't ready for a relationship, but somehow you got to a place where you're both comfortable. Self-forgiveness is the first step of detachment. Instead of thinking, oh, he tricked me, or he did this and that to me, I hate all men. No. Blessings. Blessings to you. Let the doorknob hit you, or the good Lord split you. I am not on the wrong side of history. I loved you. I believed in us. What did I feel, and what did I ignore, and what would I tell my friend had I seen the situation? We need to learn from things. Number 3, you're personalizing their rejection. His inability to love you or not want you or not see your magic is not about you. It's about his inability to do so. You weren't too much. You weren't too little. You weren't too not mysterious. You weren't too funny. You weren't too crazy. You weren't too much for him. There is no message you can write that will change that. There is no text message. I'm speaking to you because I see you in my DMs. What can I write to him to change this? I did this, I did that, I acted crazy. What can I write? Nothing. Nothing. You can just love yourself. Love yourself and love people in your life. The way he failed to love me says nothing about my capacity to love myself. More so the reason to love yourself. If somebody does not love you and cannot love you, is that not more the reason to love yourself? If you were a small child that had no love in their life, wouldn't you therefore...
Thank you, Miss Margarita. Really appreciate you and all your amazing insight. So we're going to hop right into our next segment here, which is going to be our Reacts segment. And we're going to get started by reacting to this video. I'm also going to start, I'm going to try and, maybe not this show, but I'm going to try and start fitting in the TikToks as well, if there's particular TikToks that you guys want me to react to. Okay, so for this particular thing that I'm going to be reacting to, this video is titled, "My Boyfriend Cheated on Me at His Work? Story Time." So we're going to watch this amazing creator. Her name is Mrs. Kaylee Lees, and she's going to talk to us about, I guess, for finding this out. We're going to see what we can learn from this, what we can take from this, and if there's any sneaky evidence that we might be able to spot in our own relationships or situationships about men.
Story time about how I found out that my boyfriend was cheating on me for 3 months straight at his new job. So whenever all this happened, I was a senior in high school and my boyfriend had just graduated. Oh, if I'm looking over here, it's because my mirror's over here because I actually want to see what I'm doing. And we were both living at his mom's because I had some family stuff going on at the time, so I was like staying there during the summer. Well, my boyfriend had to quit his job because they were shutting down and he had worked there for...
Staying at the family of the guy's house is such a power imbalance. I'm not saying it's a crime. I'm sure she obviously did it because that was just the situation she was in at the time, but it's such a power imbalance because not only do you have him in terms of like you're at his place, like where his family lives, but then you also have the pressure of his family. And if you guys have an argument or a disagreement, whose side do you think his family is going to take?
Over 3 years. So he started looking for a new job, and he found one that was literally 3 minutes down the street from his mom's house. And it was a sports bra and grill, so he started working there. Well, after working there...
Did she mean to say a sports bar? It sounded like she said a sports bra and grill.
Sports bra and grill, so he started working there. Well, after working there for I think about a month, his brother had came home from jail. And his brother was looking for a job at the time whenever he got out of jail, so...
Huh? What was his brother in jail for? Okay, this is already getting weird. What type of guy is she dating? Don't tell me she's dating is this another one of these drug dealer stories? Is this another one of these, I'm dating a drug dealer?
Oh, my boyfriend, of course, was like, hey, why don't you come work with me? And his brother was all for it. You know, he was excited to be working with his brother. Well, I want to say about 2 weeks after his brother went
straight out of jail to a sports bar job? Okay.
To work with him, he came home the one night and he had told me about this one girl who had given him her phone number, and he took it out of his pocket and it was a piece of paper with her phone number on it. So my boyfriend and I had problems in the past with like trust issues and stuff like that, but at this time I had kind of gotten over it because it happened a long time ago when we first started dating. So whenever this happened, my trust issues started to creep back in, you know, because I started thinking, well, why did she feel comfortable enough giving you her phone number to talk about her problems with you? Because that's the reason why she apparently gave him her phone number, was so that way they could talk about her problems.
I always personally think so if you're ever in this position, this is something that I've noticed in helping people and giving them with their relationship issues. Anytime you get into a place where the person that you're with romantically is helping someone else through a relationship and they're not no relationship coach or therapist, it always ends up bad, you know. And it sounds very weird because it kind of it's like at first it's like, oh yeah, obviously you wouldn't go for the person who's telling you how sad they are about their boyfriend, or you wouldn't go for the guy who's telling you how sad he is about his girlfriend. But that's how it starts becoming a lot more personal, right? A shoulder to cry on. Oh, I'm feeling sad today. Can you meet up with me in the parking lot because I need to cry? Like all that stuff. That's when it immediately escalates to becoming inappropriate, right? For 100, it always starts like that.
Sis, get a therapist. There is no reason for that. Anyways, so of course this pisses me off. I tell him to throw the phone number away, and I asked him what the girl's name was, and he said her name was Sadie. And of course after that, Sadie was #1 on my hit list. Just kidding. Well, after that, he starts going into work really early and staying very late. And whenever I had talked with him about it, he was always blaming it on somebody else or something else. He would be like, well, I had to close tonight because nobody else wanted to stay and close. Somebody didn't do their job right tonight, so I had to stay and do their job. And it was just really weird because, you know, you would expect that to happen maybe like not so often, but it was literally happening every single day that he had work. So yeah, at that point things were just getting very weird and it was making me question a lot of things. Well, then the next red flag that happened that I should have noticed was that he started having issues with me dropping him off and picking him up from work. Because I had always dropped him off and picked him up at work. For some reason, he like started having an issue with it. He was like, no, he was like, I can do it myself. Like,
okay, I haven't watched this entire video, okay? So I don't know what is going to happen eventually. But what this starts to feel like to me, because I've heard a lot of other sides of the story, multiple sides of stories. So I can kind of sense some of the things that might be happening behind the scenes. If she's dating this guy and he's starting to be weary of the fact that she's dropping him off at work, what that tells me or makes me feel like is she might actually be complaining about her relationship to him. What it also makes me feel like, though, is he's secretly complaining about his relationship with her to that girl as well. And they're bonding, maybe I guess it's a version of a trauma bond, but they're bonding over stories of like, oh yeah, yeah, my boyfriend, he's horrible. He treats me like this. He doesn't take me out. He didn't do this. He disrespects me. And then he's going in and saying, yeah, my girlfriend, she doesn't understand me. She doesn't do these things. She doesn't cook. She doesn't, whatever it is, right? And we don't have a good relationship either. So he's feeding into it and trying to grow their bond by basically being like, hey, let's exchange the fact that our partners are horrible people, right? But this is the thing, and this is why it makes me feel like this is what he's doing, because it doesn't fit that narrative. If she begins dropping him off at work, it kind of seems like, wait, but I thought you had this trash girlfriend that treats you like crap and you're basically single because like she treats you like so much like crap. Now, if she's dropping him off at work, it kind of seems more like, oh, well, clearly your girlfriend is not that bad of a person if she's dropping you off at work. But you see how like now he has to kind of die with the lie, which would make a lot of sense why he's having a problem with her dropping him off at work all of a sudden. And a lot of guys do this. I always tell women that, well, we'll go on and I'll maybe she'll mention it.
You don't need to do that. And so of course that also was weirding me out, because that's weird. Why are you just going to start having a problem with me picking you up and dropping you off at work? And he was the one with the car, so that meant that I was literally stuck at his parents' house all day and I didn't have a car. Well, the one day I remember I had begged him to use the car because I had some errands to run that day, and he let me use the car. So like I said, he let me drop him off and used the car that day. Well, when I went to pick him up that night, there were these 3 girls sitting outside, and there was one specifically that was giving me an absolute death stare. You would have thought that I literally like screwed her boyfriend. Yeah, no, but she was just like giving me a really nasty look, and I had no idea why, but I just kind of ignored it. Well, a few days after that, my boyfriend and his brother got into this huge argument because my boyfriend had told me that his brother was flirting with girls at work. And at the time, his brother's girlfriend was like one of my best friends. Love her, by the way. So what did I do? Of course I told her. Like, why am I not going to tell her? So I went and told her. So she was flipping out on her boyfriend. And can I just say something? I don't think that he was flirting with other girls at work. I really think that it was just a ploy for my boyfriend to kind of get the attention off of him onto his brother and the fact that he was doing things wrong. So of course I told her, and they got into a big argument. We're gonna call my boyfriend like Derek or something. Yeah, we're gonna call him Derek. So his brother calls me, and he was flipping out on Derek before that, and he calls me and he says, right hand up to God, Derek is screwing a girl named Sadie at work. I'm literally freaking out on my boyfriend, but I don't know who to believe, because the thing is like, they are always playing pranks on each other. You don't know when they're serious. They'll literally like make these jokes up, say, oh yeah, like she's cheating on you with blah 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 blah, as a joke. Anyway.
I never understand people that make jokes. I never don't think those type of jokes are funny. I don't understand people that think that those type of jokes are funny, whether it's like on one side or the other, but to each his own.
So what do? I do what any reasonable girlfriend would do. I go into my boyfriend's room and I start screaming at him. And he had been texting his brother, and I told him, I said, let me see your...
Crashing out is never the answer. Never the answer. Even if your boyfriend cheats on you, crashing out is never the answer. See, here's the thing too. See, I don't want to turn you guys into me, but I want to give you guys just a little tidbit, right? If you ever are in the situation where you find out some information that a guy you like or you're seeing or you're dating is cheating on you, there are actually much better options than crashing out, and much better options that will even satisfy you better than crashing out. Because if you stay super silent, you don't say anything, you don't do anything, you don't change up anything, you actually get the opportunity, while that person doesn't know that you're onto them, to gather so much more information that will actually not even just maybe confirm the fact that they did cheat on you, but also confirm when, how, like who it is, all the stuff that maybe they wouldn't tell you, or maybe they would delete the evidence of it if they were to find out that you were onto them. So I always am a proponent of, the last thing you want to do is crash out when you're on to someone, or when you find out some juicy information. The best thing to do is to hold your water, crash out on your friends or something, gather more information, and then after you gather information and you're ready to break up with the person, then break up with them when you have everything that you need. That way, you know, when you crash out, you don't even have to ask them no more questions. That's just how I think. You know what I mean?
Text messages between you and your brother. And before he gives me his phone, he literally swipes over and deletes the conversation between him and his brother. So I went over and I grabbed.
This is exactly, I told you, I didn't watch this beforehand. This is exactly why. This is exactly why I say that. Because now, and this is the thing too, when you're in this position, everyone will talk a big game. Oh yeah, I'm big and bad. You know, if a guy cheats on me, I'm leaving first sight. I'm not saying, chatting about nothing. I'm not asking him nothing. I'm just leaving. But see, I know that's not realistic. I'm a human being. So I also understand that the best thing to do is to make it so that it's undeniable for you, so that when you walk away, you're not questioning whether you should walk away or not, right? You walk away with confidence because you're like, oh, I already know the story. I know everything that happened, and there's no his word versus mine. And this is the exact problem. You come in crashing out thinking you're ready to talk a big game and say everything you want to say. Now he's deleted the evidence. Now you don't have any way of actually catching him in the act or building any more of a case than just, oh, he said, she said. Okay. And now it puts her in a position where it's like, do I break up with him? Because I don't know if it's actually true. He says it's not. The other people could be lying.
Grabbed his computer, which is connected to his phone. Like the text messages go onto his computer also. So I grab his computer and I look at the text on there. And it still looked like some were missing, but the only thing that it said was, please don't do it. My boyfriend had sent that to his brother. So now I'm obviously very, very sketched out, but my dumbass is still believing him. Love that for me. So because I'm a dumbass, I end up believing my boyfriend, and that night I was just so pissed off. I told him, hey, like, I'm gonna go to my friends tonight. Like, I can't be around you. I need time to think. Well, fast forward, I guess him and his brother stopped fighting, and his brother told me, he was like, yeah, no, I was lying about the whole thing. Like, he didn't do anything. He's very loyal to you. Whatever. But yeah, that was the end of that situation. So we hadn't really talked about it again after that. I was still having like inklings that like he was cheating on me, which were totally correct, and I find out every single time, so I don't even know why he lies to me about it. So yeah, that situation was over and done with. So a month after that whole situation, fall time rolls around. My boyfriend moves out of his parents' house. I couldn't move out yet because I was not 18, and that's whenever him and I started having troubles in our relationship, even more than we did before. He just
Wait, what? So your boyfriend is living out of the house and you're living in your boyfriend's house without him there with his family? Okay. This is okay.
was not caring about me and how I felt in the relationship. He never wanted to be around me. He would always choose his friends over me. So at that point, I had just had enough and I broke up with him. Did I want to get back with him 2 hours after I broke up with him? Yes. Did I? No. I decided that I was going to be a strong, independent woman at that time. So I decided, why not make a Tinder? Was I underage? Yes. Did I put jailbait in my bio? Yes, I did. So that's that. I pretty much made a Tinder, and I guess literally the day after.
Why don't we even take a second to like cry or something, or like analyze our feelings or something? Why don't we just like even just take a second? Why don't we just take a deep breath, like one at least, before we just go straight to downloading? Let's just take one breath. We're already downloading Tinder. Okay. You know, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She's young, so maybe she's not thinking everything through. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
After I made mine,
or sorry, she was young when this happened.
One of Derek's friends decided to tell Derek to make a Tinder also. So he makes a Tinder and the first person he sees on there is me. So I left school early that day and I get a text message from Derek saying, "You are such a whore." So at that point I'm like really pissed off. I'm like, I don't care, like do what you want, like sorry that you're angry that I'm deciding to move on, like not my fault. By the way, if you ever break up with your boyfriend, get a Tinder. That shit is a confidence boost. You will
Every time we watch one of these videos, I keep thinking, okay, we're gonna watch a version of a video where a girl tells us like a horror story of what she's been through, what she learned from it, and like also give context of like, oh, that I shouldn't have done, that didn't make any sense. Yeah, that was a mistake, whatever. And you know, we'll all be able to learn together. But then it's like halfway through the video, I'll realize that there's still a whole bunch of stuff that they haven't learned from the situation. And it's like a lot of the behavior or things that got them into this horrible situation or made it worse in some scenarios is like they're still of that same belief and that lifestyle, right? Like what do you like? I don't even understand what you're saying here. No, you don't break up with someone and get a Tinder. That's just going from one guy's validation to the next guy's validation, okay? You don't get over a guy by dating more men. That's just making men even more of the center of your life. Just because you're decentering a single man to recenter another man, that doesn't mean that's decentering men overall.
Literally have all these guys telling you that you're so hot and it's so nice to just reject them. So I guess my bad bitch parade had ended because I got really lonely the one night and I had texted him asking what he was doing and he pretty much said nothing. So what did I do? I went to his house and when I was there we had talked about things and I asked him, I said, I want to know the truth about everything. I said, I already know half of what's going on, but I want to know what you meant by that text message. I didn't know anything, by the way. This kid literally just told on himself every single time that he cheated on me. He was literally so freaking dumb. He says there was this girl at work and I said, what's her name? He told me her real name now. And I said, did you do the nasty with her? And he said, yeah. I said, how many times? And at this time I'm kind of like holding back my tears because my boyfriend was a sociopath and if he saw you putting out any emotion he would base his emotion off of that. So anytime that he cries too, I literally just ignore him because he just does it to make you feel bad instead of actually crying because he feels bad. So I'm sitting there with a straight face and I'm like, you know, how many times, where, when, like blah 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 blah. He says, I don't know how many times. And at that point, that already makes me think, oh great, like you were going into work every single day and screwing this girl while you were there. Nice. I slept there that night because it was too late for me to go home. No, he did not do anything. I literally slept on the couch. He slept in his bedroom because I was not about to do that. But I made him think that I was fine with it. Like, you know, I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, like, it's in our past, just promise you'll never hurt me again. So the next day I wake up and I go to school. I left school early that day. I went home, I went to my dad's house and I pretty much just stayed home for majority of the day. And that night I had found that girl on Snapchat, which was very stupid of me because I am all about not blaming the girl. Like before I had such like a nasty mentality of it was the girl's fault, not the guy's, which
Oh no. Oh no. This is gonna go left. I think what she's about to say. I think I know what she's gonna say.
is totally not the case. So I will never ever go off on a girl if I ever find out that my boyfriend is cheating on me with a girl because it's just, they're not the one in your committed relationship. So I find this girl on Instagram and I find her on Snapchat and like I said, I add her on Snapchat and when I see her Instagram bio is literally, I'm your boyfriend's favorite. Her pictures are all captioned stuff about screwing girls' boyfriends. I didn't know that was a trend, but actually a lot of girls like to do that. I think like a few weeks ago this girl was talking on the phone saying how she loves fucking guys with boyfriends.
This new generation just different. I have never seen that before. Even back in the day when, you know, I was a kid and we had MySpace, I never seen nobody make a status like that. I never seen nobody have a bio like that. This new generation is a legitimately different. I have never seen no stuff like that before in my life. I have never I haven't even seen OF girls put stuff like that in their bios. And they're selling it for $4.99. I haven't even seen them put stuff like that in their bios. That's what the new generation doing. Anyone here, there's no way anyone here could be Gen Alpha. 2004 is how old? Is there anyone here that's Gen Alpha? I don't even think you should be watching my show if you're Gen Alpha.
Right. Her pictures are all captioned stuff about screwing girls' boyfriends. I didn't know that was a trend, but actually a lot of girls like to do that. I think like a few weeks ago, this girl was talking on the phone saying how she loves fucking guys with boyfriends. Love that for you, sis, just not for me. So at that point, I'm getting really angry because when I'm looking on all of these photos, like her captions are literally just disgusting. And I add her on Snapchat. And I text her and I say that, you know, like, you're nasty, you're a whore, blah, 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 blah. Just like me being any jealous, insecure girlfriend. And I let the emotions get the best of me that night. But it was really funny because, like, she was talking to me and she was like, it's not my fault your boyfriend wanted to screw me, and you know, it's not my fault that I'm better looking than you, blah 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 blah, just this, that, and the next. So like, I'm really letting this girl get under my skin. Like, I'm like really pissed off. Like, at this point, I really wanted to go to this girl's house and just like do some very not nice things. So soon enough, I find out that the owner of the restaurant that he was working at, that's his daughter. So I'm ready to literally call their work and be like, your daughter.
This, you know what? Okay, I don't want to say nothing that's too racy, but this sounds like you know those type of interactions and stories where you're like, oh, that's like a Facebook drama. I don't want to diss any of you guys that, you know, like Facebook and stuff like that, but sometimes if you're like if you're my generation, which I'm Gen Z, if you're my generation, sometimes we see like posts or like, you know, like if you're seeing like a Facebook thread and you're like, oh, that's Facebook drama. Because the drama is just so ridiculous of the way people interact with each other that you're like, oh, that's a Facebook drama. Like, people that spend time on Instagram, they don't even have drama like that. Like, it's a different type of drama that people have on Facebook. That's just very, you know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. But this reminds me of like a Facebook drama, because it's like, who does that? Who puts that in their bio? Who even talks like that?
So soon enough, I find out that the owner of the restaurant that he was working at, that's his daughter. So I'm ready to literally call their work and be like, your daughter's a whore. Like, she's literally screwing people in your back kitchen and stuff like that where the food is. But instead, I just block her.
I hope her saying that was her just trying to make up a lie, not that she actually is screwing people in the back kitchen. That's insane. That's insane if she's doing that. But then again, she put I screw boyfriends in her bio. So it's not going to be that far. That's insane. What type of generation is this?
On Snapchat because I knew that I was letting my emotions get the best of me. And I sneak out of my dad's house that night and go to my friend's house. Well, when I went to my friend's house, her boyfriend was best friends with my boyfriend. This is not his brother's girlfriend, by the way. This is just one of my best friends. And her boyfriend decides to come clean on some things that my boyfriend had told him. And he's like, yeah, no, like, he always was telling me about how when he would go into work, there would be these girls all over him. He was screwing 2 girls at work every single day whenever he went in there. So at this point, I'm literally livid. Like, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I feel like the worst.
How do you even screw just sounds funny. How do you even sleep with 2 girls at once at your job? Is anyone on the clock? Is literally anyone on the clock? This must be the worst rated sports bar in history. There's no way they can be getting any work done. This guy's sleeping with 2 people at the job at the same time. That's insane. Someone said, I can't believe you're Gen Z. Yeah, my birthday's, I was born in 97. So I'm like right at the cut off of being Gen Z.
Worst part about it all was the fact that because I had so many trust issues from him in the past. He was coming home like every night, and like when I would talk to him about how I was feeling, about how, you know, I was having doubts, you know, about him being faithful, he would be like, I don't know why you feel like that. Like, I've been so loyal. Like, I'm actually so proud of myself because I haven't done anything wrong. After that, I call and I tell him that I pretty much know everything. And I found out the reason why everything happened the way it did. So he was going into work early and staying later so he could screw this girl at work. Actually, these two girls at work. And staying later so he could screw this girl at work. Actually, these two girls at work. And the reason why he didn't.
That's not even no, that's not, you know, I wouldn't even be able to call that no horny stuff. You know, like sometimes I'll listen to a story and I'll be like, oh, that guy was just horny and doesn't know how to control himself. What she's describing sounds more like an addiction, to be honest with you. Like that's one of those ones I think like you'd actually need to go to therapy for, because it's one thing to say, okay, you know, like she's throwing it at me. Yeah. You know, like you smash every once in a while, whatever, when you have time. But to be going in early to work and leaving work late to smash, like basically sounds like he's doing this every day. Like every time he goes to the shift, it's like clockwork to smash two girls every day when you're going into work and leaving work. That's more leaning on the side of addiction, because it's not even, I don't even want to say it's not fun anymore, but it's not fun. That's not even fun anymore, because like it's not even realistic that every day you're going to want to go in and have sex at work. Like some days you come in, you're stressed out, I don't want to do other things. It's just like that's one of those like therapy. You need therapy if you're doing that at that point, because that's just too insane.
Not want me picking him up and dropping him off was because apparently this girl had a plan to come to the car and beat my ass because she wanted my boyfriend. So yeah, pretty much after that everything started making sense and him and I broke up, but my dumb ass got back together with him. So yeah, ladies, if you see red.
Oh my God. Why would you do this? Why? I don't understand. Are people not learning? So she didn't learn anything. She got told this. She's replaying this story. She's retelling this story, which she's probably told multiple times. How did even at the time, I get it, she was young, but even at the time where you heard this story, like, I don't understand I literally don't understand.
Flags and you think he's cheating on you, he probably is, and he's probably dumb enough to tell on himself, so make sure to trick him into telling you. I love you guys so much, and let me know if you like this video. If you do, then I will start posting more story times on YouTube. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see when I post my next.
She just rolled right into give it a like, give it a thumbs up. You know the vibes. After saying, yeah, I got back together with him after all that. I don't understand. I don't understand. Maybe she doesn't want to be saved. She doesn't want help. I really don't understand. I don't know, because like if a guy tells you that, how do you even reconcile that? What's the solution there? Stop going to work and screwing your coworkers? What are you supposed? What's the resolution at that point? Right? This is what I mean by being able to cut your losses and not feeling like, oh my gosh, I've already invested so much of my time and energy that I just have to keep investing and never stop investing, and I can't pull out and I can't move on with my life. You're allowed to cut your losses when the situation has become unsustainable. I don't understand this concept at all. And see, this is what's also worrying me. She didn't cry once. She didn't get emotional once. It makes me feel like she damn near still with him to this day. To this day. I don't know, man. I don't even think I could give her advice because I don't even think she wants it. I think she loves where she's at. I think she loves it. Okay. All right, let's hop into our next segment, man. You guys know the vibes. Okay? Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your entire home. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. Damn, my elbow hurt. It's score time. Okay. Let's hop right into our Discord section of the show. For those of you who have no idea how this works, I'm going to explain this to you right now. So Discord time is where all the amazing members of the Players Club Discord community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, we have a different couple of ways that you can send in your message. I'm going to tell you all the different ways right now. The first way is by sending in your message to our free relationship advice forum, which is a first come, first serve forum. You drop your question in by going into my description, clicking where it says Discord, join the Discord. You can drop your question in here. Now, there is a little bit of a queue because I have a lot of questions that I still need to get to. So it might take me some time to get to your question. If you are an impatient person, you don't want to wait the shows it's going to take for me to get to your question, you can always ask me a premium question. The way that these questions work is if you go to the link in my description and you click where it says premium Discord relationship advice, you can click that, you donate to the show, and then you also type in your username and the title of your question. Then you can drop your question into the premium section. I missed something here. Into the premium section, and then I will let you skip the line because you can get your question answered before other people. Now, this is our most popular one and our most juicy one by far. What a lot of people are doing is they're also sending me in their private relationship questions that they have for me because they want me to answer it for them, and maybe they don't want their information on the show, or they want their answer in a very specific way or format. So this link in the Discord and also in my description where it says private relationship advice, you can send me in a private relationship question about your guy, about your situation, about whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff. And I will answer with a voice message and then send you back that voice message via email. And obviously no one else will read your message. It'll just be me. There won't be any information read out on the show. Okay, let's hop into our first question here. Now, the Discord is a little bit fuzzy because of the fact that I haven't been able to keep up with the pace of questions. So some of these are older than they should be. So I'm going to try and catch up on as much as I can in the right order. Okay. All right. Boundaries in a relationship, baked potato, detaching. You won't believe. I think no, I did that one. Okay. So this one comes from Olympus. Olympus says, you won't believe this. My boyfriend wants to take his ex to a festival one day and take me another day because they talked about going together while we broke up. But now that we've gotten back together, he still wants to do this. During our relationship, he chatted with her multiple times about our relationship, even when I told him it hurts me. Is he one of those guys that actually hates me and is jealous of me? We're actively trying to start a family. What? But I can't believe when I asked him what he plans to do with her at the festival, I think I did this one, physically and emotionally, he couldn't even answer. He says he has other priorities that's preventing him from thinking about that right now, other than this festival this weekend. Should I leave this situation? I think I did this question, but just in reading it over again, it's still wild. and Olympus, you have to leave that man. There's no other option. Like, the man that's willing to disrespect you on that level does not love you whatsoever. You shouldn't even be thinking about being with that man or being in a relationship with that man. Okay. Oh, I think I didn't do, please help. Let me see this one. Oh, this is one where you had to, I wanted you to send it in the right way. The rest of the message. Okay, help, please. Everyone, why is everyone saying help, please? I think I did that one. Access to live. Oh, this is just about asking where the live shows are. They're all in my live section in the Discord. So when you go to live, just scroll up and you'll be able to see all the different live sections. Okay. Just a little bit. Okay, let me see this one. Just a little bit says, how to strengthen the trust muscle and find the tribe for me. Hi, I'm 22. I haven't had sex since early 2024. I'm so starved. More important than sex, romantic connection, platonic connection, overall social connection. Every black guy I've dealt with has higher interest in multiple other women, especially non-black women. What I don't understand is how they like women that cosplay as black women, wear the costume of culture, wear out every... What? Even if it makes no sense, or stuff themselves in black curated trends, spaces, including around black men. Some of them are deceptively racist and throw slurs when they don't get their way, but then do, I need my glasses. But then those same men will put women like me who do nothing but help them heal and love us, put us down, call us all types of monkeys, cheat, put us through the ringer, and just expect us to survive through it all. But we'll give non-blacks the softest, stress-free life. But why not just date actual black women? It has to be some type of Shannon Sharp, relish related mess. Bro told his own daughter to figure out her wedding and threw her $30K just to give an already privileged white teenager 20 plus million. The girl retired from OF and will never have to work again. Do you have any idea of why these incidents are so common? I've discovered what I like to do for free already. I'm just wondering where to go from here. This is like a totally different question. For the last year, I've done nothing but work, take myself out, avoid leaving the house when not necessary. Now getting back my foot in the door, I have to worry about my own kind using me as rehab, then successfully courting his actual preference. White men possibly being internally racist, if not racist unalivers, and only dating me for social tokens has happened in the past. Middle Eastern men standing on their actual culture, racial or religious grounds, Mexican men being just as racist, criminals, or a danger to me as a black woman, you get the point. Women in general being two-faced, male-centered, obsessed with the spotlight and testing their power to take any man I date. Even setting my fears aside, I'll message girls in my area and I know and invite them to hang out and introduce the idea of friendship just to get ignored, blocked, or stood up. Interacting with the public just feels like a casting a net in an electrocuted pool with my bare hands, hoping not to get fried. This is not to victimize myself. I would just like to navigate through the corruption of the world and still get what I want in life since everyone else seems to. Thanks, Tomisin. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, I have to have an honest, real conversation with you. All right. I played a video a while back about, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to be super real with you. I played a video a while back. It was a video titled I'm a Loser. Okay. I want to see if I can find it actually on YouTube. I would love for you, and I told you, I'm not trying to be mean to you. Okay. I would love for you to watch that video. Okay, I'm gonna actually pull it up here so that you can see what video I'm referring to. And I'll pull it up on the screen so that when you watch this back, you can see what I'm talking to. And don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. So I would love for you to watch this video here. Okay, let me see, is this up on the screen? There. I would love for you to watch this video here. It's called My Life as a Loser. Okay. Now the person here, her username on YouTube is I Exist. It's got 1 million views, 1,000,004. Okay. And what the whole video is just her talking about how she's such a loser. Okay. Let's just
my name
play
is
some.
I Exist. I'm 26 years old. I am a virgin. I never got a college education.
Okay. So my point being, I want you to watch this video. Now, why am I saying this? And I told you, I'm not trying to be mean to you here. I want you to understand energy is everything. And as much as you might feel to yourself, oh, wow, look at how these other people treat me. They don't like me. They don't want to be around me. It's all them. Everyone's toxic. Nobody's real around here. I want you to watch that video, because when we watch that video together, you might have not been on that, watching that episode when I watched the video with the audience that day. When we watched that video together, everyone in the chat, 90% of the people were like, please turn this off. Oh my God, this girl is so depressing. She makes me want to unalive myself. Like, literally, her energy is the worst. I wouldn't want to be friends with her either, right? Because that's the point of the video. She's talking about how nobody wants to be her friend and she has no friends and she's never been able to make friends, okay? Now, once again, I'm not saying this to make fun of you. I'm not saying this to call you out or, you know, make you feel bad about yourself. What I'm saying is you have to understand that when it comes to interacting with people, people are also receiving you, okay? And as much as I understand you're just trying to tell your story and tell how you feel about things, there is an element of responsibility that you have to take in recognizing that it seems like, based on what you're describing, a lot of people don't seem to be able to get along with you for whatever reason, okay? Whether it be, like you said, some of these people are selfish, they have their own agendas, whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying that that's untrue, but what I also want you to see, that's the easy way out though, is to say everyone else is horrible and I only meet horrible people. How can I stop meeting such horrible people? That's easy. Now, what's harder to do is look yourself in the mirror and truthfully ask yourself, is the way that I present myself off-putting to people that causes them to react or respond to me in a way where they don't want to be my friend, they don't want to talk to me, they don't want to be around me? And the reason I say that is because sometimes when you're the person that other people don't want to be around, to you, it can seem like everyone's just a garbage person. But when you're on the outside, looking at someone else who has that energy, it becomes very obvious to you why other people don't want to spend time with you, or that person, I should say. And this is why I say, I want you to watch that video in its entirety. Don't double speed it. Watch it at single speed. Don't do anything else while you're watching it, and really listen to her and ask yourself, as she's saying I'm such a loser and this and that, and she's telling her story, ask yourself, how she's describing her life and the energy she brings across. I'm not even in the same room with her. Would I want to be her friend? Would I want to be around her? Would I want to hang out with her? I'm not even talking about date. I'm just talking about, would I want to hang out with her? Would I want to be her girlfriend? Would I want her to come out with me? Would I want her to be on my arm when we're meeting people and going out and making other friends? Or after you hear her, you're listening to her, are you going to be like, damn, that's kind of cringe. Damn, I wouldn't want to be around you. Damn, I kind of see why people don't want to hang out with you. And I'm not even saying this to diss or be mean to her, but I noticed a very important lesson when I played that video and how uncomfortable other people were with watching that video. Because when you're the person, you feel like the victim. But when other people are watching you or around you, they all understand why they don't want to interact with you. But sometimes if you're not being honest with yourself, or you're not taking responsibility for some of the ways that you present yourself, you're not facing the reality that also what might be playing a role is you're a little bit off-putting to people. I don't know you. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's a lie. I'm just saying what I've noticed in my years on this earth is that generally when someone says, I can't get along with anyone and everyone else is a trash human being, and that causes problems and doesn't know how to get along with me, what usually is the case is that person has some sort of personality trait or issue or something going on with them that makes it very difficult to get along with them, which is why that person finds it very difficult to make and keep friends. But they're the only one that doesn't see it. Okay? And the only reason I say this, I just want you to think about it and ponder on it and see if there's any truth to it. Okay? Once again, I don't know you, so I don't know if that's the truth or not, but it just makes me think. Okay, let's go on to our next question here. So this one comes from A49. A49. How can I fix this? A49 says. Okay, A49 says, hi, Tomisin. I don't know if you will be reading this since, I think I did this one. Yeah, I did this one. I know I did this one. Because she talked about her daddy issues, her father issues. Okay, so should we do that one with the? No, we shouldn't do that one. Not that serious, but I'm still annoyed. This one, okay. So Heidi says, not that serious, but I'm still annoyed. I got a dude's number from Hinge, and he hasn't texted me in 2 days, which I had zero problems with. If you're busy, then you're busy. It be like that. The problem is that he updated his profile twice, maybe 3 times, and he thought I didn't see that stuff. You think I'm stupid? He said he's trying to be in a relationship soon. I'm taking this as he's not sure about me and he's seeking other women. He's saying sorry and telling me excuses. I don't want to talk to him anymore, but we were talking every day for 2 weeks, so I thought there was something more. No. Hidi, you have to learn this very important lesson. I don't say things for no reason. So when I tell you guys get off the dating apps, I'm not just saying it just because I like to hear myself talk, okay? I say it because I really believe that that's the way you'll be successful in your romantic relationships. These guys on dating apps, they do not care, okay? Do you understand how much dopamine you can receive from seeing and swiping a new girl every second? A lot of you are like, men already have the natural disposition where it's hard for them to value women because they're always looking for the new shiny new toy, right? The woman that's brand new is the hottest because she's brand new. Then when she stops being brand new, she's not as hot anymore. Guys already have that problem naturally. Social media and especially dating apps only exacerbates that problem by 1,000. Stop being in the environment where all the microwave men are seeking for quick, easy relationships. Okay? That's the easiest place where you'll find yourself, where you'll be talking to a guy and he'll make you feel like he's in love with you. And then by 2 weeks from now, all of a sudden he doesn't want to talk to you because they're just in it for the dopamine. That's what you have to understand. These guys are in it and they might even believe themselves, oh, I like this girl today, but then tomorrow they like a new girl because they're just in it for the dopamine rush, talking to a new girl. Oh, we might meet up. Oh, we might sleep together. Oh, we might sext, whatever the case may be. And then it's over after a couple of weeks. And then they move on to a new girl and they just keep swiping and keep swiping. It's always new. It's always novelty. It's always shiny. Get yourself out of that hamster wheel. Okay? I know for you, you're thinking all the guys that are on Hinge are looking for romantic, real relationships. They're not. In fact, it's very counterintuitive nowadays. What started off as being the purpose of dating apps is no longer the purpose of dating apps. I actually think a very small percentage of people who are on these mainstream dating apps are even looking for a real relationship. At least for the men. I would probably say less than 10% of men on dating apps are actually looking for a relationship, as crazy as that sounds. Which is why I say just get off of it. A lot of your problem right now is stemmed around your environment more than anything. Okay? I mean, like the environment that you're meeting the men in. Let me see here. So, okay, let's do Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Tomisin, you spelled my name wrong. It's Tomisin. What am I doing wrong? Hi, dear Tomisin. Okay. I have listened to every single one of your videos multiple times. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think I know where this is going. And I truly value your wisdom and insights. That's why I am here reaching out. Because even though I apply everything of what you teach, I think I know where this is going. Nothing seems to be working for me and I feel stuck. I need your honest guidance on what I might be doing. I'm a 43-year-old woman, single, no children. I keep myself fit and take pride in looking my best. I was introduced by a mutual friend to a 48-year-old divorced man with a 9-year-old child. The first night we met, he seemed into me. I am shy and tend to play it cool. So when I left, I expected him to say goodnight. Instead, he just looked, and it took him 3 weeks to get my number. How he was seeing you for, how did he even see you for 3 weeks? We started dating and he took me to nice restaurants and treated me well. Most conversations, however, were about his traumatic childhood, divorce, or his children's depression. That's fine. That's fine. Jennifer, okay, I love you. You're not on this date to enjoy yourself. And I mean that, like, yes, you're on the date. You want to, like, have fun. But I mean, like, you want to be discovering who this guy is. If you're actually going to be in a relationship with him, let him trauma dump because you don't want to run into any surprises. Don't go on your date and be like, let me talk about myself, make me feel good, tell me you're in love with me, because that doesn't do anything for you. Because if he were to tell you some things that would make you realize, ooh, I definitely shouldn't be dating this guy, that's actually beneficial for you. You should be looking forward to being on a date where a guy will yap so much that he will tell you why you shouldn't be in a relationship with him, because he has saved you so much time and wasted energy. Okay? These guys are doing you favors when they talk about themselves. It's not a bad thing. Okay? Clap it up, be happy. Because when he starts talking to you about all this stuff that makes you unattracted to him, now you can be like, oh, this is perfect. Now I don't have to think about whether or not you're the right person for me. I know you're not. Right? I listened patiently because I wanted to understand him. Sexually, I wasn't very attracted to him, but I gave it a chance. Okay. So I hope let's not get this confused, because I know some of you guys listen to other content creators, so maybe you're hearing things that I haven't said. I do not advise any of you to sacrifice your attraction or your sexuality or your, any of that intimacy to be with the guy just because he has money or just because he treats you well even. You should be able to have a balance of a guy who treats you well, but you're also attracted to him. Or a guy who has, some money. He doesn't have to be a millionaire, but also you're attracted to him. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So I just want you guys to understand, I'm not a proponent of sacrifice your desire for a man, be with an ugly, disgusting man because he has money or something. I don't, that's not what I preach. Okay. After 2 months, we became intimate. He had ED the first time and a very small PP. Things improved slightly after his STD test, but intimacy still never felt great. Still, he seemed like a good man, so I continued. We met weekly, then twice a week. I didn't allow sleepovers, but he left clothes in my place. We discussed marriage, children soon because of my age, and buying a house. He agreed to test so we could start trying. I mean, at least if you're sleeping in the bed with him, you don't really have to worry about anything poking you in the butt or in the back, because, even if it does, you're not even going to feel it. Let's go on. Then he proposed with a 300. Okay, now you're taking a piss, as they would say in the UK. You're taking a piss. He proposed with a 365 euro ring. How much dollars is that? That's probably like $400. Okay. I was disappointed, not because I'm materialistic, but because it felt thoughtless. He is not broke, so it made me feel undervalued. Well, I mean, if you think about it, he gave you a ring kind of in compliment to like the size of his. Okay, never mind. After that, he shifted the plan. Instead of marriage, house, children, he wanted me to spend time at his place, help him with his child, get pregnant, and only after years buy a house. This change came right after intimacy and after a poker night with his friends. Okay. His effort dropped. He only sent, if you have other ideas, tell me. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Sorry. How far did you guys hear? My board got muted. Um, so long story short, you said, okay, basically his effort dropped and you're wondering why his effort dropped and what you should do now. So here's the thing. I don't want you guys to think that, just because you meet a man and he's older or he's been divorced, that means he's a bad man. That's not what I want you guys to think. But what I want you to do though, is realize that if a guy that you're dating or seeing has already been in a relationship that didn't end up working out, then it's your responsibility to try and see, okay, did it not work out just because, they didn't mesh, they just weren't the right fit for each other, or other external circumstances? Or did it not work because he has some sort of personality trait or quirk or issue that makes it very difficult to be in a relationship with this man? Because sometimes it's one or the other. Sometimes it's, a combination of things that's not really within his control. And sometimes it's that man is impossible to be with. Sometimes that's the case. But when you date a guy, you have to be patient enough to let him reveal himself to you and see which type of guy he actually is. Okay, Jennifer? And I don't think that this is necessarily a reflection on you if you're doing your job in taking care of yourself, right? Because I always say the most attractive version of yourself is the version that invests heavily in you. Okay. So as long as you're doing that and keeping that at the front of your mind, you're always on a path to success. Now, what might have to change is the environment in which you're meeting the men that you're usually meeting. I know this guy was introduced to you via a mutual friend, but maybe you might consider going places. If you're a 43-year-old woman, you have no children, and you take care of yourself and you're fit, truthfully and honestly, Jennifer, you might want to start skewing a little bit younger, if that makes any sense. Early 40s, late 30s, okay, even mid 30s. The reason I say that is because your lifestyle is more conducive, or just as conducive, to a mid 30s, late 30s man, even more so than it is a late 40s man, because you have no children. So it's not like a guy would meet you who's like ready to be an adult, ready for marriage and all that stuff, and he would be like, oh, but you have a child, right? So your environment can also be affecting your ability to have successful relationships. You might want to start doing things like attending some of these, like I know they have they have these, depending on what area you're in, they'll have these different dance events. They'll have like a salsa night, or they'll have like a Latin night, or whatever night, where you go and you show up there. You can bring a friend, you can bring a girlfriend, ideally maybe the friend that introduced you to this mutual friend, and you can go there and you just sign up for the salsa night, and it's a bunch of people that show up. It's like 50, 60 people that show up, and you partner with different people, and then they teach you a little bit of a lesson, and then you go off and you dance in your partners and in your groups, right? I know of those type of events. I live in Toronto, and I know that those type of events happen in every major city, and you can just start joining them, and there you'll be able to meet more people in a more casual sense. That's not the club or the bar, that are more adults, working professionals, and things like that. It will give you an opportunity to meet men that I think you're more in alignment with, because I don't think, based on your lifestyle, you need a older 40s man. I actually think you need like a late 30s type of man who also has no kids, because then he'll be very serious about marriage, because he probably has not been married before, or he'll be, at the very least, maybe no children, where it's like, hey, yes, I also want to have my first child as well, and that's one of my goals as well, right? And I think you'll be more in alignment lifestyle wise with a guy like that. But obviously that comes with changing your environment so you can meet more men like that, especially if you're doing all the other things like taking care of yourself. You still look good, you still have been investing in yourself. You'll have no issues attracting even a even an early 30s man. You'll have no problems attracting a man like that, trust me. All right, let's go into our next question here. So that was Jennifer. Rocky terrain rides turning. Okay, so this is an interesting title. Amelia, rocky terrain, tides are turning. Hello, Tomisin. I watch your videos consistently, and I find them very informative. I will be putting the advice you give me into practice. I am a 33-year-old woman, and the guy I'm seeing, he's 28. We grew up together. We have loads of memories and are in the same neighborhood and city. Though life has taken us on different paths over the years, we kept in contact regularly, texting back and forth daily and even on social media. During this time we were in contact, I was pregnant, which he knew and could visibly see. You mean like on social media? He displayed interest in being with me all the same and being part of my baby's life. Okay, now I'm confused, which I was happy and grateful to hear. I'm very confused now. I'm really confused. So are you saying that you got pregnant by a guy you just immediately knew you weren't going to be with? You wanted to keep the baby, and he was like, how was he seeing you during this time? I'm a little bit confused there. We were spending time together first as friends, close friends. We would open up and dates became regular. Are you talking about while you're pregnant? I would often suggest going out and he would happily agree to go on dates. He said dating was something he wanted to do, like a goal. Okay. He didn't have a car. How old is he? 33. Okay. Maybe you guys live in New York City, so he doesn't need a car. Let's hope that's the case. But we would often go for walks to various restaurants and cafes together. We even went on dates in the evening, not just the afternoon. Went on dates we both paid, which I didn't mind. I'm going to assume you guys live in a densely populated city like New York, where maybe there's no need to have a car because it's so easy to get transportation. Someone said some like them pregnant. That's also a thing for sure. I was thinking that for a second as well. We then became a couple. Meetups would take place at his apartment. Here we ordered food. We spent time together. He was affectionate. We kissed. He often wrapped his arms around me. He showed protectiveness. Are you pregnant this entire time you're describing this? Where's the baby at this time? When his friends came over, he changed. His behavior shifted, and he gave lots of attention to his friends to the point where he even took the remote out of my hand when we decided on watching a movie and gave it to his friend who put on a show. Then, when I agreed to watch what his group of friends had put on, I asked to see his phone and he became territorial. He had shown me his phone prior, and since we were together, I didn't really see why he would not show me it. I found that odd. He would then, within minutes, give his phone to his guy friends to scroll through. Why would his guy friends even be scrolling through his phone? I'm confused. When I slept at his place, he would wrap his arms around me. He was comfortable, so was I. We discussed the future. Okay, you didn't have a specific question here. So I'm assuming your question is just like, what's up with that? I would say that's weird, but so your question doesn't have enough context for me to understand what's going on here. In the sense that I don't know, where is your baby at this time? Who is your baby's father? Why, like what happened to that situation? How, because you're talking about, okay, so let's just build out a timeline here, even though you didn't give us a timeline. You can only have a baby in your stomach for 9 months. So you're talking about the fact that at some point while you were pregnant, he saw you and he had an interest in being with you and also being in your baby's life. So my question is, if he met you sometime during that 9 months, what happened to your previous relationship, the guy who's the father of your children? Why are you not with him? And how long did you take to transition from being with the guy, sleeping with him, getting pregnant by him, knowing you're pregnant by him, and then deciding you're going to keep the baby, and then breaking up with him for good, that you're meeting this guy, he's seeing you pregnant, and then now you're beginning to date him? My question is, and the reason I say I don't even know if I can answer this without context, because there's a whole jumbled up mess here of a timeline. If you're pregnant by a guy and then moving on to this new guy while still pregnant with this baby from this old guy, it's creating such a mess of confusion and discombobulation that, to me, honestly, it makes a little bit of sense why you're confused with where you stand with him, because you're in a very confusing state and situation. There's a baby in your stomach, which I'm sure, like, so this is the other part. If his friends are over, I'm sure like they kind of understand this as well and how confusing it is for everyone. There's a baby in your stomach that's not his baby. He's not your boyfriend, but you're kind of hanging out with him like he's going to be your boyfriend. I'm assuming during this timeline you haven't had the baby yet. So you're pregnant still, about to give birth to a baby that you either maybe you don't know the father, or you're aware of the father, but he's just not in your life, or you broke up with the father. So like, we don't know where that's going. We don't know what the future of that is, but he's saying he wants to help, but he's also not really your boyfriend. He's definitely not your husband. So there's so many moving parts here. I really think the real answer to your question is not, why did he not let me go through his phone? The real answer to your question, if you want some sort of clarity, is what am I actually doing here? Okay. I need to figure out like what direction I'm going in, because you're about to birth a whole human. Okay. I'm not saying this to like, take a poop on you. Like, I get it. We all go through things, but I think right now you just need to prioritize, what does the life for your human is it going to be right now? And I mean, from the standpoint of like, how are you going to take care of your human? Not relying on this man. Because truthfully and honestly, guys like this, they blow with the wind. He's not the father of your children. He doesn't have any real obligation to you. So I don't want you're pregnant. You shouldn't be basing the lifestyle of your unborn child on this random man taking care of your child. That's not sustainable, because he can walk away. He can break up with you via text. Okay. And there's nothing obligating him to stay. Not saying he would do that. It's just nothing obligating him to stay. So I think the main priority for you needs to be figuring out your relationship with the father of your child, even if there is none, accepting that, and then figuring out moving forward, how are you going to make this situation work for you in raising a child in a healthy environment, giving your child some stability while also taking care of yourself. That really should be your main priority right now. I really don't think it's necessary for you to be trying to build a thing with the guy who's like lukewarm. And trust me, he's chit-chatting about becoming a father. It's very different when the baby's actually born and he's taking care of that child. Okay. So I wouldn't base a lot of what you're going to do for your future off of this random man that can break up with you via text. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Because, I'm not saying people are all evil, but you definitely don't want to put a decision like this and your trust in someone who has no real investment in this situation being successful, right? Your child having a happy, healthy, sustainable life, while cool and good, is not at the top of his priority list. Just the reality. Okay, I'm just being real with you. Okay. Let's hop into our next question. Okay. What does that say? Dating and dancing. Interesting. Some of these are probably really interesting. I feel like I missed some of these. This is part 2 of it. So let's see here. Okay. We'll read this part 2. We discussed in the future, and I brought up common goals that we could do together. Next time, put it all in one, though. And I made it clear that we were in a relationship goals, so 50-50, such as buying a car, moving in together, and getting married. When discussing, he gave me minimal responses. When it came to marriage, he was very interested in that. Also, I'll save it to the end. He brought up his interest in buying a ring, and he shared that he couldn't afford it at the moment, but we could use it something else for the time being, like a string or a symbolic ring. When it came to the apartment, we discussed wanting to move in together, and since we both had experience living in our own separate apartments, I thought that it would be easy. We just had to look at places online or in person. What about the baby? Where's the baby at this point? As time went on, I feel like he was not committed to doing these goals, as I didn't see action on his end. He kept a lot to himself and then told me he was having job problems. So there definitely ain't no apartment moving. There definitely ain't no taking care of no baby. He can't even take care of himself right now. Not uncommon, he often switched from job to job. So you definitely shouldn't be relying on him. I was very supportive in him finding a new job. I offered to help him look for a new job or go with him to find a new job. He preferred to go to the job searching on his own. The last time I went to his place, he asked for pineapples and I said no. I wanted to take steps in the relationship since I didn't. Are you pregnant while he's asking for this? Since I didn't see that he was working on his relationship goals or putting in effort, I made my boundary clear. This hurt him, I could tell, because he really wanted pineapples, and it took him a lot to share that with me. He whispered it to me. I wondered if he feared rejection or actually trusted the relationship. The following week, I went to work. Are you pregnant or no? And that evening, I got a text from him saying, I have another girl over. He shared her name with me, and I knew I didn't like her. I knew that I didn't like her, as it was someone I grew up with and we didn't get along. They proceeded to have pineapples that night. The next time I received text from him were this girl on his phone saying they had pineapples. What? What? Who interacts like that? He just flat, well, you know what? It's commendable that he was just that honest with you. He didn't even try to hide it. He sent you a message, I got a girl over. But this is what I mean about too, like basing the lifestyle of your baby off of a guy that can break up with you over text, which is basically what he did. He just texted you one day and was like, yeah, I'm sleeping with a different girl. That's not you. And he like basically shrugged. But this is exactly my point about this guy doesn't owe you anything and he has no ties to you. Let me go back to here so that we can read this part 3, because this is ridiculous. I don't even know how the message even goes on from here. So you then go on to say, Amelia, this was clearly something he really wanted, pineapples. He allowed this other girl to text me on his cell phone. This is ridiculous. A bunch of profane words and cuss me out, basically, even though he expressed that he wanted to share his life with me a week earlier. So let me tell you something so that you're also aware of this. The only way she would feel empowered enough to do that to you is if he had said some really nasty things about you. Like nasty in the sense of like, oh, this woman's at my house and she doesn't want to leave me alone and I don't even want her and I'm tired of her, but she just won't stop talking to me and she's so desperate and like, bro, like I just want to get rid of her and like, bro, every time I try to break up with her, she won't leave me alone. I promise you, I know how people talk and I know how people respond when people talk about you a certain way. This girl felt empowered to do, because it's his phone, felt empowered to take his phone and say those things to you because he's talking very, very bad about you to her. Very bad, very bad. And that's why she feels like, bro, just leave this guy alone type of thing. That's why she's texting you like that. He texted me, you wanted me to buy a bunch of poop when we had a conversation about the goals we wanted to achieve together. He also expressed wanting those things. What I took away from this was that he was scared. No, what you should take away from this is this guy doesn't want you. Oh boy. That he felt insecure about taking bigger steps. That's what you took away from him sleeping with another woman and having her text you from his phone. That he's scared and he's insecure about taking bigger steps. Where's your baby? This stress isn't even good for you. I hope you're not pregnant going through this type of stress. I clearly stated that these are relationship goals, not things to buy. So I figured that financially he was doing worse off than I thought, and maybe his job situation was more serious than I believed. His reaction to me came out of nowhere. I wanted to experience these goals with him. What goals? The goals of busting a nut and another woman? What? I don't even know where your head's at. What goals are you talking about? I think I don't even want to say it. A few months later, I saw that he had put our exact plans into place with this other girl who gave him pineapples on the first day. When she went to his apartment following this, months later, he proposed, again, using the plan we discussed together. A family friend told me that he felt he was not ready to be with me because I had a baby and it was too much for him, given his current situation, job hopping. He texted me back after proposing to the other girl and also said that he felt everything came down to money. I feel you were using me for my money, the money that he didn't have. He stated, but I truly feel that he did not get the concept of relationship goals and building, which is really important to me. Why did he not follow through with our plans, but did so with another girl? Can you tell me why he couldn't open up to me about his insecurities until after we broke up? I feel there was a lot of strong factors in our relationship, but ultimately it didn't work out. Does the age difference affect or have anything to do with this? Thanks so much. Okay. Wow. Amelia, your situation is quite complex. But what I will say is, in my belief, that wasn't the first time he slept with that woman. Okay. Because it's very strange to, let's just think about this for a second. He's been committed to you, right? One day he hops on Hinge or Bumble, invites a girl over for the first time, is meeting her for the first time. And the first time he meets her, he sleeps with her when she comes over. And they get close enough that she decides to send you a message from his phone. That's just not, that's not a normal timeline for human beings to take, right? There's no logic train for that, in the sense that doesn't really make a lot of sense for people to be doing things like that at that point. I'm not saying that he couldn't sleep with the girl, the first night that he met her, but for him to sleep with the girl first night he met her, and then he's sending you a message, oh, I slept with this girl, and she's at his place, and then she's texting you from his phone. Like, that's not something that people do when they just met each other. Even toxic people don't do stuff like that. Now, if they've been smashing, they've been talking about you, they've been talking about him wanting to leave you, then yeah, it makes a lot more sense. So you also have to understand, if the logic train stops making sense, you're probably missing a lot of information, which in this scenario, it would make a lot of sense that you're missing the information that they've been having this relationship ongoing. You just only realized when he sent you that message. Okay. So that's number one. Now, I mean, as it relates to, okay, this is where I'm not going to be mean to you, but I do want to give you a dose of reality just about men and just life. Like, okay, if you are currently a pregnant woman, pregnant by another man, whether you know the father or you don't know the father, despite what guys will say, majority of men without children are not going to have a preference for a woman who is actively pregnant with someone else's baby. That's not me trying to be mean to you. That's not me trying to hurt your feelings. I just want to give you the reality, okay? Right? Most men, if they had a choice of any woman that they could choose, they are not likely to choose a woman who is actively pregnant with someone else's child. It's just not realistic, okay? I don't make the rules. I'm just explaining them to you. So what I think was happening was there was an element of him feeling like, yeah, I like her vibe, and then also trying to convince himself that because he likes you and he likes your vibe, that maybe he can, be a father to your child. But I think really and truthfully, which, it happens sometimes with men, as he thought more and more seriously about what it actually means to like be a father and take care of someone else's child, like, he realized it doesn't make sense. And what could also be happening as well is, as he's having conversations with his guy friends, they're probably telling him, bro, that makes no sense. If you're going to get a girl pregnant and have her have your child. Why would you meet a girl and then you're meeting her and then immediately you're committing yourself to taking care of her child that she had with someone else? And they probably start asking him questions, which is fair. His guy friends might start asking him questions like, who is this guy? How did she get pregnant by him? What's her relationship with him? Are they broken up? Are they still together? Where is he at? Where does he live? And they might have also, and I'm not even going to say that that's bad advice, because honestly, friends should ask those type of questions to a guy. If I had a guy friend that was saying, hey, I want to wife this girl and she's pregnant by another man, I would ask him those same questions. I'd say, bro, are you thinking of the fact that you're committing yourself to taking care of someone else's child? What happens if that man shows up one day and says, I want to be a dad now? What happens to you? What happens to your relationship? Where is that guy out now? What happened to their relationship that caused them to break up, right? Do you understand these things? Do you understand what you're committing yourself to? Do you understand what you're signing up for, right? And I would ask my guy friend these type of questions. And what I would hope is that he would actually take into consideration that his decision is not just, hey, do I like this girl that I'm smashing right now and hanging out with and vibing with? And really asking himself, am I prepared for everything that's going to come in the future? And what I think happened is, as time went on, he thought deeper and harder about what his decision actually entails. And he realized it probably doesn't make sense for him to like move forward in that direction. Now, am I saying that the way he went about it is right? No, I don't think the way he went about it is right. I think he should have just been straight up with you about when it changed for him and the fact that he didn't want to move forward with this. But I think he also I'm assuming maybe you're still pregnant at this time. I think he also started to feel bad for you. And so he needed an out. And so I guess the best out for him was just, hey, I'm sleeping with this other girl. So, obviously our relationship is over, right? Which is a cowardly way to back out of this situation. But I also think that you made a mistake by putting him in a position that I don't think he was ever ready for. And I think more than anything, you wanted him to be ready for. And the reason I say that is because before this, you mentioned a couple of times in seeing his actions not matching anything that he said he wanted to do. He bought you a 365 euro ring. He's going from job to job. He just doesn't seem to be on any of the movements or the timing that you need a man to be on who's going to be a father to your child in the next couple of months. So I think that you should have taken those signs and said, okay, I need to start figuring out how to build a sustainable life for me and my child. Not worried about this guy because this guy's too much of a wild card. Okay. And I can't base my child's life and happiness off of a wild card. Even if my child only has me as her mother, I still need to do the job of providing my child with stability. Not, he's got a father today and then no father tomorrow type of thing. Which is why I said from the very beginning, even before I read these other parts, that your main priority needs to be your child right now. If you're going to have that child, not chasing boys, not being in relationships. I really think like this next 2 years of your life just needs to be in building a sustainable environment for you and your child where you can take care of your child. You're not in financial issues or struggles. And then at least two, so that you can like have enough time left over for yourself. Because if you're a single mom, you still deserve to have fun. You still deserve to enjoy your life. But then you're going to have to build a sustainable environment where you can have some sort of support system that will allow you to be able to like still, enjoy yourself and stay sane while taking care of your child. So that would mean like, getting and organizing with your family on being able to maybe have some days where they can take care of your child so that you can have some peace or relaxation or get your mind right and things like that, right? Like all of that stuff should be the stuff you're focusing on, not being in a relationship with a random guy who's just, talking about marriage as if it's like something he can just, buy a ring pop and get married to you. Okay. Right. All right, chat. That's the show for today. For those of you who have any questions for me, feel free to ask, whether it be in the free section, the premium section, or the private relationship advice section. I am here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I'll be here again on Wednesday. And then we'll have another show about love, life, and relationships. Until we meet again, I bid you adieu. Damn, we're really late today. I bid you adieu. Arrivederci, au revoir, hasta la vista, sayonara, ciao, salam. Bounty. Bon voyage, and I'll see you again on Wednesday at sometime during the afternoon. It's really 10 p.m. Yo, we're finishing the show at 10 p.m. I'll see you guys later. I love you so much. Love you.